How's that whole?
Do you remember? No, just to explain what happened to Trey.
Yeah. You'll have to forgive me. It's a was it?
It was Gunner.
Gunner. That's it. I almost said Gunther because I was thinking Hunter and like, yeah. So not Gunther, right?
It was Gage and Gunner.
Gunner, okay. He just got pretty excited about One Piece and regaled us muchly about.
I invited Ryan and Ian over to do the podcast, and it was me, Gage, and Gunner, and was Taylor there? I don't remember.
I think the funny thing though too is sort of just like the pre-conversation of like, oh yeah, we'll get into stuff about like music and photography and like that kind of stuff. And then when we actually got into it, it was mostly like a one.
Well, because somehow we got on just the opening the door of anime at one point is what got it on that track. Because this was back before I was like even remotely into One Piece, and Gunner was still actively watching it and catching up. And he just got we got on the topic of anime in some way, shape, or form. And then that just opened the floodgates. And Gunner basically derailed the whole podcast. And for like, I want to say like a good hour chunk of it was just like us bullshitting about One Piece stuff and like power rankings and stuff. And he was talking about characters and things. And it was funny. I ended up cutting probably about 45 minutes of that out.
It's almost as bad as us derailing into a fucking crypto diatribe during our fucking Billy Mays interview.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we're recording, by the way. Welcome to ghostontheaux. I'm Devin. With me is normally and is eating his Chipotle. Take your time.
Trey.
And
my name's Ryan.
Ryan returns. And we're going to try not to have quite as One Piece heavy episode this time. There was like a half millisecond delay between what I'm saying and what I'm hearing, so it's like throwing me off. Anyways, what's up, Ryan? I feel like we really did just get a bunch of talking energy out right before starting, just like you said. What you about to lately, bro?
Honestly, I've been playing a lot of that Helldivers too when I'm not working. But it's been like just like a lot of just work, and I've been spending more time at home because it's cheaper and everything is insanely expensive now.
Oh God.
So Helldivers 2 is good though.
I was just at the vape shop the other day and the smoke shop, and the dude was like, "You know anybody who needs a car?" And I'm like, "Bro, everybody is broke." And then the other guy who was working there just started laughing. he just started cracking up, Yeah. And then he's like, the dude chimes in. He's like, "Ask him how many cars he got." And I'm like, "How many cars do you have to sell?" And he's like, 6. I'm like, huh?
You ever stop to wonder why you still have 6 cars up for sale?
That's what I'm saying.
You have to get to 6 though. I mean, I don't think you wake up with 6 cars you got to sell, you know what I mean?
So I don't know about 5 out of 6 of them, but one of them, he explained the main reason he was selling it was because he has a 350Z and he bought another one that's just for parts to fix the original one.
Okay.
Or maybe the other way around. I forget. But then he got caught up and busy and didn't really want to do the rest of the job he's going to do on it and then just sell it.
So wait, is he selling the one that he put the harvested parts into or the one that he harvested parts from?
I don't recall.
Because that doesn't sound like a good buy.
No.
Like, yeah, I bought this to take everything good out of it to put in my other one. Do you want it?
The scraps.
It's still got a shell to it.
I'll race you for pinks, bro.
Oh, man. As is. As is.
But yeah, I don't recall. I think they were both functional cars, right? It wasn't just like one was junk and he's taking pieces. I think they're both functional. But he ended up not wanting to do all the work that you ended up having to do.
Because then you need a third one.
Yeah. You're right.
You need a third one to put parts into the second one.
He would need a third car to drive while he's working on the other 2. Imagine. That's how he keeps accruing cars.
Yeah.
He's like swapping parts between all of them, like infinitely. That's actually a funny thought. But yeah, I was like, bro, everybody's broke. I don't know a single person who needs a car right now.
Yeah.
Or if they do, they either have a car or they're too broke to afford one. That's like the situation pretty much everybody's in.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because it's like, oh, the economy's doing good. Like it's better. It's like, okay, it might be good for like that might be good for like the stock market or something. But I mean, in the material world, day to day, it seems pretty fucking shitty, man. Like I go to the grocery store and like a thing of cookies is $8 or $9. What the fuck is that? When did that happen? You know, like prices have gone up so much that I have this weird uncanny thing where like I'll go into a grocery store and I look at the prices of things and I feel like I've fucking like been transported to the future. I'm like time has passed clearly because all of this shit is so much more expensive. Like, did I arrive from the past? Like, how is it like this all of a sudden? And no one else is freaking out, but I'm freaking out.
That's always how I felt walking into Publix. Between the fact that it is like twice as expensive as everywhere else, and it is so like sterile,
yes,
and like clean and white. Yeah,
they've upped Publix is up. They've upped their security in terms of deli sub theft.
What is that a thing?
When I was younger, when I was a lad, when I was but a homunculus, I used to sometimes steal subs from Publix. When I was
what do you
super
just
broke.
like you have them make it and then you just don't take it to the register or something?
Correct. Well, you could either order it online ahead and then just walk in. It's on the shelf for you to grab it, walk out, or stand in line if you really want to look like a bozo and then tell them to make it and then walk out. But yeah, when I was younger, when I was broke as shit and really needed it, I did do that a handful of times, and I discovered it by accident by doing it not on purpose the first time,
right? Where
I ordered one and I forgot that you have to go through the line to pay for it.
Yeah, well, and I just can't pay for them online.
Yeah, well, this was a little bit earlier when I don't think you could.
Right.
But I ordered it like in line and whatever, and I grabbed it and I start to walk out like just like on autopilot, like because it's the only thing I have in my hands. So I just like kind of was like, okay, I'm leaving now, and then I take like I walk like 3 steps out the door. And I'm like, wait, did I even pay for this? And I checked my pocket to see if I had a receipt or anything. And I'm like, no. And I walked back in and I'm like, hey, I got to pay for this. But that was a eureka moment for broke me in the future.
Wait, but did you do that? Did you walk back in and pay for it?
Oh, I did.
Oh, wow.
I genuinely did because that was not on purpose. But I'm also not afraid I'm not too pussy to say that I did steal at a later date. This is like 10 years ago though. This is like forever ago.
They'll find you.
They'll find me 10 years later.
Yeah.
And charge me for him.
Probably has like their own Pinkertons like type agency.
Pinkertons.
Yeah.
The Pubertons.
The Pubertons.
Send the Publies after you.
The Publies.
Yeah.
It'd be like the Jenkinstons or something. Like that was his name, right? George Jenkins or some shit.
Was that his name? The dude made Publix?
Yeah.
Jenkinson?
No, Jenkins.
Jenkins?
I was just styling it more like,
I got you.
It wasn't John Publix.
John Publix.
Yeah. Well, that was probably the original creator and then sold it,
So John Publix was like, he had the idea and then
that's what I'm
Jenkins
saying.
stole the idea. It was like a Facebook situation.
Or like a Famous Amos type thing,
What's the story there?
Oh, well, I was on like a History Channel show. It was actually pretty good. They did like a series on like all the food that made America. And like the guy was a dude, like Amos was a guy, and he made like the cookies or whatever. And he was like the face behind it very much. But he sold the company, and then in the like sale of the company, like agreed to continue to be basically like a mascot style figure, but he had no control anymore. And they basically it got sold again, I'm pretty sure, and it became more and more like commercialized, so the quality dropped, which is like the one thing he didn't want to happen. Is like what made his cookies good is that it was like homemade cookies kind of thing. And of course it was just ruined by commercialization.
It's crazy that it was de facto ruined, and yet enough people still buy them that they're still able to like maintain that brand and keep
they're famous.
Keep printing them out of whatever cardboard factory them shits are printed at, because those things are like, it's literally like cookie powder pucks. It's like a pill.
It's like a cookie pill. Step up from like Cookie Crisps.
What's like that brand of cookies that's usually right next to them? That's like they're like this big and they come in a 2-pack usually.
Pack.
Like
Milanos.
A lot of times Mrs.
No,
Fields.
those are the I think it's that one.
Yeah, Mrs. Fields is a very similar story.
I think those are fire though.
That was actually her story was pretty inspiring though, because like the I can't remember her name, which is terrible, but she did that in a very anti-woman time period. So So Fields was like her husband's name that she got married to, and like pretty much if she didn't like have her husband, she would have never been able to do it.
He was Mr. Fields and she was Mrs. Pasture.
She's Joan Fields.
Pasture.
Yeah. What?
Never mind.
Oh, like as opposed to a field, a pasture?
Yes,
okay.
A pasture.
Wow.
Or maybe a prairie, if you will.
Yeah.
John Plain.
Like a valley.
John Plain. No, it would be Plain Jane. She would be Plain.
True. Yeah, Mrs. Fields and her diabolical rival, Plain Jane.
Those cookies are pretty fire, though. Those actually hold up decent. I like those.
How many... You just sparked something in my head. Are there any like food mascots that have like enemies? Like rivals in their universe?
There's the Hamburglar from McDonald's. That's the only thing I can think of. And I mean, technically, like, what is it? Is it Trix?
Yeah,
where
the Trix rabbit like versus the youth of America.
He's both a mascot, but also not supposed to eat them, which is weird.
Yeah.
And then Lucky Charms.
It's just like
the kids themselves are like the evil
Irish immigrant who's trying to protect his possessions, and like children are like, gleefully trying to rob him.
Truly an all American brand.
He came here with all he had.
Right. That's a classic story right there.
Imagine you go to another country with nothing but the clothes on your back and a box of cereal. I'm ready.
And the kids are like, give me that cereal, bro. I'll step on you.
Your first thing off the boat in New York, right? And a bunch of kids come up and just beat you up and take your cereal. And you're just short, but they call you a leprechaun.
Well, I feel like that's pretty normal anyway. That definitely happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're short and you're Irish, there's no fucking
you're done.
You can't get away from it.
And bro, if you're redheaded, you may as well just put on the green suit and the hat because you're typecast for life, no matter whether you're acting or not.
Like the socks, they're like green, white socks, like the stripes,
Yeah.
That dude, you guys know about that that Willy Wonka chocolate factory experience thing that happened in
yes.
I think that was in Ireland.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened? I think I heard something vaguely about this.
I'll explain the situation in a second. But the reason I thought of that is because the dude that was casted to be Wonka was like this super redheaded dude. I'm like, this does not give me Wonka vibes.
Is that where the woman of the photo like standing in front of what looks like a chemistry?
Meth lab.
It's like she's in front of a meth lab and she looks depressed as hell. Yeah. She looks like she wants.
That's like an incredible photo.
Yeah.
Whatever the expense was worth it to create that.
Bro,
the whole thing looked like it was made by AI.
The promo material definitely was. The event looked like something that I was half expecting Banksy to take credit for, like the Taliban takes credit for like acts of terrorism. You know what I mean? Just come out of the internet and be like, yeah, all of this, that was me. It was all brilliant and artistic. It was meant to scare the children. Bro, what was that the one guy that like came out from behind?
The unknown.
Bro, shout out the unknown.
Shout out the unknown. We want to interview him
on the podcast soon.
So you know the general like plot of Willy Wonka, right? The chocolate factory and the quirks of the factory and how there's some dangers around corners sometimes, especially for naughty children.
Well, yeah.
Well, they've just made up some bullshit that I don't think existed in the lore before.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Absolutely.
I remember something called The Unknown.
The Unknown.
The Unknown.
It was he's this just tall guy in a black costume, like a black sheet. Looks like something out of a Tim Burton movie that was like had like a $1 budget. You know what I mean? And he comes out of like
out of a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah. So he's just a creature that lives in the walls of the factory, and he scares children. That was the whole thing.
Yeah, I think I did see something about that. Like he was just like in the background of like random set pieces or whatever. So
in the Wonka experience thing that took place in real life, where that's what I'm saying. Like they had like little sets made up, right?
For whatever.
He wasn't in the background. No, he opens like a crappy like cardboard cutout door thing, right, and comes out, and Wonka's just standing there 3 feet from him, going, "What is this?" it's the unknown. And then the kids start screaming.
That is genuinely scary, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro.
Wow.
Who thought of that?
An artist.
And of course, they had to make that guy. The black man had to play that guy, the one that all the kids are gonna be frightened by.
It's Ireland. They haven't seen that many black people.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
scary.
Classic Ireland. Yeah. You want to talk about the unknown? Literally, just you didn't even need the costume. Just have a black guy be like, so all the kids be like, ah!
Have you seen like how common it is for like super rural Chinese people to encounter a black person for the first time? And like, I've heard so many stories, right? On reading from Reddit to I don't know where else, other forums and stuff, of like black people who were like traveling for business to China, and they encounter somebody who's like, maybe they didn't grow up in the city, but they're at that moment they encounter them in the city, and they literally, a question they get so often is like, do you have a tail? Because they don't, like, in the rural parts of like third world, sometimes they like don't know anything about black people.
Wukong, is that you?
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, maybe it's like
where's your pole, bro?
Maybe they think they're holy, you know? Like
yeah.
Son
like
Goku and all that.
Yeah, that's the
one of the specific stories, huh?
So that's the story, and they're sticking to it.
Yeah. One of the stories that stuck out to me specifically was like this black dude rizzed up this chick that he met at a bar or whatever, and they were gonna sleep together. They had like a thing, but like their very first night when they were gonna do the deed, she literally asked him that, like, "Where's your tail?"
She was looking for that.
Was she going in there with the expectation to fuck an animal?
I don't know.
Like what? I
don't know the intentions or
trying to think
any of that behind it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, but I'm not saying this to just specifically call out Chinese people, but just like in rural parts of the world, you get some crazy beliefs, some crazy things. When people don't encounter anything outside of their bubble.
Did the person who said this say that them asking about the tail was a deal breaker for them or for the person who was asking? Like,
it was not a deal breaker. I don't recall it being a deal breaker. I think the story was,
they still went through it.
They had a relationship already, and at the time that he's telling the story, they'd been together. Oh, okay. And he's going back to like the very first time
I see.
Met. Oh, they were still together at that point?
At the time of writing that story, I believe so. Wow. That's what I kind of remember, but I don't fully remember.
Well, hey.
Could be wrong. I just remember them hooking up and her asking about that. And then he had to explain that that's not a thing.
I mean, how do you even react to that? Because it's like, it's not even.
You just laugh.
They're not American, so you can't say it's just the whatever fucking inbuilt racism that people believe other people have here.
It's what I was saying.
Like,
it's when you're
like, what are you gonna like? What do you even? It's like
when you've never seen anything outside of your
scamp. Just like you little
scamp.
Yeah. Where's your fucking UFO, huh?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. But
I'm trying to think if there's any crazy like stereotypes like that about Chinese people that like proliferates like on that type of level.
Like having a tail?
Yeah, like is there anything I'm trying to think if there's anything like that.
I think people say like racist things about their vision, I think. Like I think like that's a thing, right? Don't they say that because of you know the orientation of their eyes, like or something. I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of, like a physical expectations sort of thing.
Like Chinese people specifically?
Yeah.
Or just in general?
I just heard a car horn, very comedic. Like, you heard that? It was very funny. Like a clown car. Me. Yeah, well, or just, I can't think of anything about any race or any ethnicity that's on the level of, do you have a tail?
Yeah, no.
I've never heard that for anybody but Chinese people with black people for some reason.
Let's
move on.
Yeah,
Helldivers 2 is cool.
I'm not a high enough level racist to conjure up any ideas of anything else.
Yeah,
we gotta ask for Chin by this one.
Yeah, we gotta consult the experts on this one.
We got a hardcore racist on the line.
Let's
get a hardcore racist on the line.
Yeah, let's get call in now.
The next caller, the most racist person we screened. Go ahead and let us know.
Right? Imagine they did it on the radio. It's like, please, you can't say these words on the radio, but we're gonna talk to you anyways.
It's just one line of like beeps.
Yeah.
Right, it just all gets dumped.
Yeah. Just call somebody.
No, on the about the dump button that a lot of radio stations have.
No, what is that, like a hang up or something?
No, the dump button. They have probably other terms for it too, but that's what I've mostly heard it called. Where there's a delay in broadcasts that builds up over time. They have like special equipment and software that like will accumulate a delay, usually up to 7 seconds. And so if something airs that's not supposed to, like it could be anything. Usually it's swear words that aren't allowed on the radio, but it could be other stuff too. They can hit a button that will take the last few seconds and remove it from the broadcast. So people don't hear it, doesn't reach the listeners.
Right.
And it basically brings them up to real time. So they only have so many times that they can hit the button.
Right.
Because it brings the broadcast back to real time. And then over time and with commercials and stuff, they can rebuild up that delay again. But it's really common with like talk radio.
That's interesting. I did not know that. That makes sense though.
Really glad they didn't have that technology back when Kanye did that fucking press thing where he's like, George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Yeah, during that live. That was for hurricane relief, right? Wasn't that for Katrina?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Iconic.
I'm
surprised he hasn't sampled that.
The amazing thing is who he was on with at the time. It was Mike Myers, Austin Bowers, like the poor like guy.
What was the show? Like, what was the thing?
I think it was like a relief like type broadcast where like, oh, call in and
so like
donate towards this thing.
What do you call it?
Like a telethon?
Telethon, yes.
Yeah, something like that.
I think. So internet brain, I keep thinking subathon, but it's not that. It's something else.
Yeah, telethons don't really exist anymore.
No.
Editor, give this man the algorithms flying out of his head for those few seconds.
I am the editor, so I'll do it.
Give yourself the algorithm flying out of your head for those few seconds.
It's okay.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Got it.
Yeah, got you. Just making sure. But
Kanye is like the king of just saying crazy shit on air.
Sure is.
The Taylor Swift thing, interrupting her award that time, and everything has happened since.
Yep. Bro, gotta love it.
What's your review of the album?
Of Vultures 1?
Yeah. Is there gonna be a 2?
What I like to say, probably not if I'm being dead ass. What I would like to say about it, the best way I can put it is that it's the greatest 6 out of 10 album of all time.
Oh, okay.
Wait, which one?
Vultures 1.
Oh, I haven't listened to it.
His new
by Kanye standards, it's very, very mid. But by standards of like a lot of the music out there right now, stylistically, it's very fresh. And I feel like that goes a long way towards making some of the lesser qualities about it like a little bit better, just because it stands out on how unique and I wouldn't necessarily say unprecedented the sound is, but like nobody else is releasing it. Like like Future and Metro Boomin just released an album that's like going crazy right now. That sounds like literally every other trap album made since like the fucking early 2010s.
So do you have the impression that your own review and public reception of it will go up over time? Like later on, people will enjoy it more?
No, I think it's going to be like it's going to be like Donda, where people forget about it almost immediately. Because he built up this hype cycle.
Junior Watanabe.
He built up this hype cycle, and it's the same thing with Donda, and then like didn't follow up on it. He's done that like several times since
the stem player.
But that doesn't count. I
get one of those.
I have the album, like I copped it. It's available online, for legally. I'm sure, but
legally, I'm sure.
Yeah, but
doesn't mean
it means what it needs to mean to escape litigation from the Easy Ninjas.
Whatever it needs to mean in any given jurisdiction.
For me to not get a DM from Kanye West and then have it immediately posted to his story to put me on blast.
Well, what do you think he would say to you?
Find God.
What do you think?
Find God and find your money.
What would your reply be?
Collab? I would just send him links to all of my unreleased beats.
Right.
Just be like, any of these speak to you, my guy? Look at all my stuff. I've got so much here. Just like, I can be your guy. JPEG's a fucking drama queen, bro. Fucking tag me in, coach.
Yo.
Just gonna post that I stole his album for the Jews.
Yeah.
This one's for the Jews.
Yeah. Reparations for my Jewish homies.
Yeah.
Donda 2. You know, it's like it wasn't even that good. I'd say Donda 2 was probably about as good as Donda 1. But they were both very mid albums.
Hold on. There was a Donda 2?
Yes, that's what was released on the stem player.
Donda 2 Donda?
I never heard it.
Yeah, exactly.
Donda
because
2
it was
Electric
released
Boogaloo?
exclusively on the stem player.
Okay, that makes sense. I only heard Donda.
Yeah. Most people have only heard Donda. I don't understand like why he hasn't. Well, I do but I don't understand why he hasn't released it after stopping production of the stem player. Because it's like now that's pretty much just like lost media.
Well, did you can't get it anywhere other than on the stem player?
As far as I know, I haven't looked too deeply into it because like I said, I just
Are any of the songs good?
I did my thing and I fucking just copped it.
You did what you had to do.
I did what I had to do.
Any songs good on Donda 2?
Yeah, there's a few good songs. I really like the track "Security" for sure. Stands out to me by name.
Why do you think you released it on the stem player alone? Like, because like how much of this kind of shit and also canceling albums that got leaked and all that stuff and his whole like music career, not his outside appearance, but just the music side. How much of it is calculated? How much do you think he's just fucking around and figuring shit out as he goes?
No, I think it's almost exclusively that. I think like Kanye probably lives like moment to moment in that like pretty much any sort of like flight of fancy that catches him, he just runs with it. Like that's kind of the vibe.
I think that in general, sort of, but just with the music part, I have a hard time telling.
Well, so like what a lot of people don't take into consideration is that you notice a significant, like he very clearly peaked with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Like it was like not like he's not even denying that. So he might say Yeezus, which is fair. Yeezus,
Life of Pablo,
Fantasy. Life of Pablo is like a victory lap for My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Fucking goated album, but still not. It's like you got this, and then you've got Life of Pablo like here, and then you've got the TurboGrafx Yondu So Help Me God era, where he literally announced and canceled 3 fucking albums in a row, wow. all of which I also have, because reasons and archival purposes, and
for the greater good of humanity.
Yes, for the greater good of history.
Gotta preserve media.
Exactly, that belongs in a museum, Kanye. But. Fucking, and I am the museum. My hard drive is the museum. But then like you have the whole
body's a machine.
Jesus is King, Yay, the Kids See Ghosts, and then like those 3 albums that he produced like for Nas and a couple of other people that were all like the little 7-track album era that he kind of like got back into his groove with, and then you have a few years pass and then this whole thing happens. What a lot of people don't seem to get is that like that's real. Like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. After that is when he like really started. He was doing like fashion and like music and like stuff besides music before that, but it didn't really like pick up huge steam and start making a lot of money until around like after that time. Okay, and I feel like because that's something that a lot of people don't understand about Kanye. That's the original point I was getting at is that he's not just a musician. He's like he's CEOs of like multiple businesses. Yeah, he's a business mogul. Yeah. He is the richest black man in history for a reason. Like, and he's
is that an accurate fact?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it was for a period. I don't know if it is anymore, but there's a lot on his plate. Like he's got the Donda Academy. He's got Yeezus or Yeezy. He's got this like food thing that he's trying to start. I don't know what's up with that, but it's like some kind of like luxury food catering thing. I haven't done too much research into that. I only really just heard about that recently. But he's got
Trump steaks,
something like that.
We got easy steaks,
yay steaks,
yay steaks.
Yeah, but no, he's got his hands on like a lot of shit going on all at once, and he's got all these he's touring right now between all of it. You know, it's like he's just like, I think of what I'm capable of doing as a spry young 28-year-old male, and I think of where I would be if I was in his position. Like 80% of the shots that are called like in anything that isn't his music has to be like through other people. Probably all chirping in his ear, all on his phone or in his assistant's phone, like all throughout the day. So he's got to manage all of that. That's a lot for anybody, let alone
1,700 questions a day.
Yeah, and that's a lot for anybody to handle, let alone the greatest living artist of all time, who's still able to push out arguably very good music while under those conditions, which most artists today fucking bitch about having to make art while having a full-time job.
So wait, do you think he's the greatest living artist currently?
Boy, I see that wry little smile on your face. I see the whimsy and the spark in your eyes. You ask me that question.
A funny sentiment, you know.
Ryan, look at me. Look at me. Sir. I do. No. Hey, no. We were making eye contact. Look at me. Kanye West is the greatest. Excuse me. Ye is the greatest living artist of all time.
I don't know.
A statement so powerful you couldn't even maintain eye contact while I said it. You saw it here, folks, guys.
You
can't handle the truth.
It's just too intimate for me. You know what I mean? Along the eye contact like that, it starts to feel romantic. You know.
What's wrong with that?
Not saying it wasn't.
I don't know, man. You'll probably disagree with me, but I don't know. I would put like Trent Reznor above Kanye West. But they're very much in a similar ballpark. Absolutely.
And here's the thing, right? There are definitely a lot of like artists that are up there, like that are very. It's not like he's like no diffing all these other artists. Trent Reznor,
T-Rez.
As much as I appreciate Trent Reznor and his style of music, given the kind of music that I love,
and all the soundtrack stuff, like that's kind of what I'm trying to take account is like all the stuff that he's done, like modern like movie soundtracks and stuff like that. It's all really good.
Yeah,
like the Social Network soundtrack with him and Alex Ross, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I would say that is, if anything, probably like one of the least offensive picks like you could have given me after that statement.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, to be no, because I'm
not going to say like Taylor Swift or anything like that. There's nothing particularly like I'm not going to get Swifties on me, but like
it's doxed and harassed.
I mean, I was listening to a lot
about Taylor Swift's music.
Literally nothing, and that's why it's the most popular fucking music of all time. It's so stupid. Literally, Taylor Swift is for people with smooth brains. Like that is an undeniable fact. But
I'm a big fan of maybe 5 of her songs,
except for Eric. Rivers Unchosen. I know you're a Swiftie. You're cool. You're one of the good ones.
He's coming on here soon.
Yes, I know. That's why I was like, hold on. I know you, but you know,
I'm gonna clip this part as a short just for him to see.
God damn it. You're one of the good ones, Eric. I swear.
You have to have like captions that come in on that. Taylor Swift is for smooth brains.
Yes. You can quote me on that, though. Anybody can quote me on that. I will die on that hill. But no, try like as far as like influence music.
Bad Blood can get a pass because Kendrick Lamar's on it, right?
What?
Bad Blood can get a pass because Kendrick Lamar's on it, right?
I will say it's also a little unfair because Trent Reznor's been active longer. I mean, he really started in like 89 and Kanye was probably like early 2000s, like 04?
Yeah. Yeah, early 2000s.
Right.
Early mid 2000s. The thing is, and so like looking at everything in scale, right? So like Trent Reznor was hugely influential for like a lot of genres of music that often people take for granted and that don't like soundtracks and things like that. And a lot of like industrial stuff like with 9 Inch Nails and, you know, everything else, like very popular sounds, but within like a far less broad demographic of people. Mm-hmm. That still has a lot of staying power because the music is very, very good. Kanye was one of the most influential artists throughout, almost close to throughout like the latter half of the biggest and most popular genre of music to hit the scene since fucking Bach and Mozart, like, and rock and roll. Like hip hop is like the dominant trend in music.
Don't forget ham boning. It's pretty popular.
Fair. Genre. No, that's valid. But hip hop has been the dominant version of music, except for that weird awkward era between like 2010 and 2014 where like club EDM was like everything and then people like forgot about that. Thank
God. What about
God.
the like party rock era?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Like thank God we got that out of our we let the white people take the reins for a little bit just to see what would happen and we all regretted it.
We collectively said no thanks.
Yeah, no, let's not do this again, please. Please go fall in a ditch 303 LMFAO and all you jolly folks.
Oh, you weren't a 303 fan?
The fucked up part is that I was. That's I fucked with 303 heavy.
What's that song? Did they do? Oh man.
I gotta do the algorithm math thing.
I'm trying to think. Was it? Did they do that shake song? That shake, shake, shake. Is that them?
Shake, 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 senora. Shake it
off.
off.
Shake it off is Taylor Swift.
No. Not Taylor Swift. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I think it's them.
Shake, 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 shake it. That song?
Yeah.
No, that wasn't
That's not them. Who's
that? Fucking. My brain for some reason I want to say Stone Temple Pilots, but I know that's not true. I know that's the first that came to my head, but I know that's not true. Yeah, I know that's not true.
Y'all remember what was it called? Far East Movement?
Yes. You know what's crazy?
Like a G6?
Yeah, I met a guy who like months before that song hit the radio, like told me, like he literally showed me, is like you should listen to this song. This song is what's up next, and it's going to be the biggest thing. Metro Station?
Yes, that is the artist that does that Shake It song.
Good for you, Metro. You had your one hit.
That era, you know.
Hope you're able to feed yourself for a couple of years off of that fucking abomination. Anyway, what were we talking about?
I asked about Far East Movement.
Oh yeah, I had this guy at like a wedding I went to. I was like super young at the time. You know, a year before that song came out, it had to have been at least like half a year. Yeah. He was like, "Bro, you gotta check this out. Like, look at this. This is going to be the next big thing." And he showed me a song. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's cool. Sure, whatever." And then literally, like, wouldn't you know, half a year later, I see it everywhere and it's fucking exploding. It's the most popular thing, and I'm like, damn, I just got prophesied at and I didn't even realize it. This was some dude. He was plugged in. Yeah, well, I mean, he did like graphic design for Disney. Okay. So like he was definitely plugged in many ways, I'm sure.
And this was what group? What artist? What is it?
Remember Like a G6? What is that?
Oh, I remember that Like a G6 song. Is that them?
That's the name. It was like this Asian, I don't remember where specifically Asia, but
they must have had a very brief window of time where
that was their one hit.
They had that and I think one other song that were big, and that was it.
If they did,
they were a 2-hit wonder.
You know what song I always liked? I always liked that Sweet Disposition song, the Temper Trap.
What is it?
Sweet Disposition. You know, they got that like the kind of shorter Filipino guy with like the angel voice singing it. Mm-mm. Everybody knows that song.
I'd probably know if I heard it. I don't recognize it off the name.
I don't know the name.
It's good. It's a good song.
I'm gonna play it right now.
Right? Everybody. You don't know this song?
No, not by name.
I'm definitely not going to
recite it.
Yeah, not trying to
recite the lyrics as plainly as you can.
Like as a poem.
No. I don't even want to do that.
Take the bar spitting mic.
The bar spitting mic, yes.
Yeah. I can't believe you guys don't remember this. I feel like you got
I probably would if I
to play.
To be a fair,
if I heard it, I probably would. I'm saying I just don't know the name.
Mm-hmm. I was unironically that kid who actively avoided listening to the radio. So like I was too busy I was on the music forums, like just downloading all the obscure, like rare underground shit and just, you know, broadening my palette.
That's where I am now. Like I don't think for the last many years I've listened to the radio, but as a kid, I didn't have a choice really, because I'd be riding around with whoever is older than me, driving, my mom or somebody, right? And they're listening to the radio or just whatever, passively. Like usually it's a very passive thing to do, especially early 2000s where not as many people had like there was definitely MP3 players and everything and stuff to plug into your car. But like a lot of people were passively just like clicking the radio on and then listening to top 40 shit.
When I think of that, like I very much do think of Stone Temple Pilots, like, cause I heard a lot of that, like in the car, like as a kid, like driving around. Yeah. I like their music. I feel like is very like tailored towards that. I mean, they do have a song called the Interstate Love Song. So it's kind of funny. They go pretty hard.
I'm going to pivot this really hard. Y'all saw that ship collapse that bridge?
Yeah.
Run into that bridge? That's crazy.
Yeah, well, the funny thing with that like I thought was interesting is that people, I don't know, there's always weird conspiracy theories with anything that has media attention, but people like don't understand like how this boat could have collapsed this massive bridge. And
I think it's very simple. Large thing hit other large thing, and
it's physics, right? Like what they think is like, well, this ship was moving so slow, so how did it do so much damage? Like it wasn't even going that fast. And it's like, well, this ship weighs like 140 million pounds or something like that. So even if it's like just barely accelerating, mass times acceleration is force. So it hit it with insanely powerful force.
Conspiracy theorists be like, I would have stepped in.
I would have turned the ship. Well, what's fucky about it though? Because like, yeah, that totally makes sense. Like that's just people not understanding how big thing physics works, which is the official name. Look it up. Big things physics. But no, like
that's what like Einstein.
If you watch the thing that was spooky to me about it was like if you watch like a time lapse of it, like a fast forward time lapse of it, you see the ship like moving straight in a trajectory that would have brought it just like under the bridge, and then it just turns into the bridge.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think the story was that they lost power or had some issue with their engine or something.
Yeah,
but then why would at just the moment that it was starting the turn and then it just kept turning and went straight into the bridge? Like
the current could have been bringing it that way. I don't know.
Also, something for spooky that I learned is that the same homeboy who filed that insurance claim and made billions off the World Trade Center did the same exact thing on this bridge.
Oh,
damn.
Yeah. Same fucking got the insurance claim out, got his payout. That's
a conspiracy theory.
It's the same
that's
guy.
A legitimate like point of something to talk about.
Yeah, some dude, something Silverstein, but he fucking, which you know what, not for anything, that it is what it is. Like the dude's last name is like, you know, but he fucking.
I need to vet this. I need to read up on this because it sounds like a conspiracy theory.
Well, I mean,
like and then you saw a week later another thing happened where another boat hit another bridge.
Yeah.
And then I read something that was like, this is actually more common than you think. I'm like, I don't know how much I believe that, but I guess.
Find this guy's name.
I just don't understand how like a person claims insurance on a fucking massive bridge like that.
Bridge insurance.
Was it privately owned? Was it privately owned?
That's a good question.
Bro, you want to talk about conspiracy? I literally just look up insurance payout on bridge in Google, and it looks like, and Google says, it looks like there aren't any great matches for your search. Excuse me?
Keep quiet.
Yeah. Huh?
They know we're recording right now. If we turn the recording stuff off and then search, it'll be like, oh, here we go.
Maybe. I'm curious to hear this story though.
And then weren't some of the like crew members like not locked away, but like underneath, like in the lower decks or something, and couldn't do anything about the boat moving, like about to crash? I don't know. There was bits and chunks of the story that I heard that I didn't look deeper into. I just know the big thing about it. But imagine being crossing that bridge though, like while you're in a car, while that happens. That's one of my.
Well, thank God. Like, and that's another thing that happened. Is like that. Another thing that's a little spooky about that whole situation, because it's like I'm not one to jump to conspiracies like either, unless there's like a lot of. You know, it's one of those things where like conspiracy isn't necessary where interests align.
Okay, so
right?
This says the Maryland Transportation Authority, through the state treasurer, has filed an insurance claim for the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Yeah, it was owned by the state, so the state filed the insurance claim.
Yes, but there are people involved in that do the paperwork and that work with the state to do that stuff. Mm-hmm. And whether or not it was like the same guy, it was definitely a company that he was like involved in. That ended up like.
It seems like it would just make sense.
Right? Because it's the same guy. It's his industry.
Yeah, like it seems to handle major disaster type situations. I was just going to lift it up a little bit.
But it's the fact that these insurance like.
Okay, beautiful.
This is too tight.
I see.
Yeah.
Either way, it's not that important. At the end of the day, this is why I don't tend to drop in conspiracies, because at the end of the day, there's so much loose information and like genuine misinformation that goes around about everything that like for me to pretend like I know jack shit about the ins and outs of what the fuck is going on with this bridge or what it means for the supply chain moving forward. Like I'm a musician, dude. I don't know shit. I know how to make Blinky box go beep. You know, that's about the extent of my knowledge.
Blinky button boy.
Yeah, Blinky button box boy.
I just like that the ship hitting the bridge just like as a negative reinforcement of one of my phobias of whenever I cross bridges.
Oh yeah, no, I actually I was going to say that I had a very bad bridge phobia. I did not like crossing them. And I like took time to get over that, where I'm like, I have that paranoia that it's going to collapse as I'm going over it.
The worst part for me is when you're crossing a bridge and it's kind of steep and you're at the point where you can't see over part of it. You're like, am I just going to drive off right now? Like, is this broken on the other end?
Yeah. Yeah, that's spooky.
Well, I mean, that's why I was getting at before. Like, another thing that is kind of weird about it is that this happened at like just the right time of day where there would be nobody on the bridge.
Yeah, that's pretty weird. That part. Yeah. I mean, there was like 8 workers. Like,
I think they said like
it was closed for some type of construction at the time.
Oh, okay. I thought it was that there was like a handful of people that were crossing that.
Well, no, the people who got caught up in it were like construction workers.
Okay.
Like, the people who were died or lost or whatever. Rest in peace.
The 6 confirmed, or at this presumed, but at this point pretty much confirmed dead, were on construction.
Yeah, because there's a bunch they couldn't find.
Yeah.
Rewind
what's
time.
really spooky too is like to what you were saying is like you see in that time lapse video that I was telling about, you see cars going across the bridge, like you can see their headlights, and like the last car passed over the bridge, like it had to have been like no more than 5 minutes before the bridge got hit.
Wow.
So imagine being that guy.
Back to when Ukraine war shit was still really hot. I mean, it's hot, but it was a bit more in the news. And when that they blew up a bridge with like a missile or something. Do you remember this? This was a couple years ago now, I think. But there was like some question about, because it was a bridge that connected like Russia to Crimea, right? So there was a strategic purpose behind blowing it up, but there was like confusion on who actually did it, because who would it inconvenience more, which side would be inconvenienced more by it. And there was like also a question of, was it the truck? There was a truck that was said to be full of explosives that was sent across to blow up the thing, or was it a missile? And like in the footage, it's kind of hard to see.
I like to imagine that,
and there were civilian cars on it too,
like
though.
Both mutually trying to blow up the bridge
at the same time.
Yeah, and like they just overlapped, so like they're trying to each claim credit for it. It's like, no, we blew up the bridge to stop you. You weren't stopping us.
Neither want to take responsibility for fixing the bridge.
They're like, oh, well, in that case, you blew it up.
And it's like 2 kids that are like pulling out America's like pants, like, help,
bro.
Fix our bridge.
All I want to know is like, how does this affect me getting my fucking Yeezy pods that I ordered in fucking February, Kanye? Where are my pods, bro? It's been months.
Can you imagine you ordered something like that? You found out
they were probably on the
being produced in Ukraine. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Or they were in the boat that hit the bridge.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Bro, would be just my luck.
I was watching a podcast the other day called Safety Third, which is William Osman and a few other like science YouTubers. Niall Red sometimes is on it, and a few other like science YouTubers. Niall Red, the dude that does like a bunch of chemistry shit.
Oh, that yeah.
And Backyard Scientist, who's a Floridian. We should try to get him on here one day. And Alan Pan, he like worked with Mythbusters and shit. He did like Mythbusters related shit. I don't know. Anyway, the point is they do a podcast and they got on the topic of like shipping like dangerous things from like one country to another, like for their like related to like projects that they work on. And the one dude, Niall Red, he lives in Canada and sometimes has really a lot of trouble ordering like certain chemicals and stuff that he needs for his projects. And they were gotten the topic of like how sometimes the materials that they're looking for are so niche that you can only get it from like one guy in like somewhere in the Middle East, or like one shop that's somewhere halfway around the world or whatever. And it's such a pain in the ass to like go through the process of getting something shipped to them. And the thing that made me laugh was they're talking about like when there's disasters like boat sinking or trains derailing or whatever, planes crashing, like your shit that was getting delivered to you, if it happens to be on that, how fucked is that?
Yeah.
And it's such a hard to obtain thing already. And it made me laugh because they're talking about like, you know how if you ever shipped anything, you can get like, or if you ship something yourself, or if you order something, you can kind of like track, you know, like where it's progress.
Right.
And it's like they kind of get specific with like telling you where it is and what happened to it. Like, oh, your $13 shirt that you ordered is actually in a lake somewhere. Sorry.
Yeah.
Our boat sank.
That would be pretty wild to check like the tracking and it says something like that, like, oh, your package was lost in a maritime accident.
Yeah.
Pirates.
It fell in a volcano.
Yeah. Pirates commandeered the ship that your package was on, so we're expecting some delays.
Yeah. We're gonna send you a new one of this one of a one thing. It's one of a kind item. You know about that what's it called? Khyber Pass, where they make all these crazy guns? In somewhere in the Middle East. Can you look that up? Where that is, the Khyber Pass? It's somewhere in the Middle East where it's like a well-known place where they have like really exotic and like homemade and home like crossbred weapons.
Oh,
like
wow.
they'll take parts from one gun and another one and make some new crazy shit out of it.
I didn't even know that they bred like that.
They bred, yeah. With a mommy gun and a daddy gun
like,
really like each other.
This is like
an AR platform, an AK
special
platform.
oranges,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, but the Khyber Pass, I don't know. I just thought about that because thinking of like exotic things from overseas. But no, it's actually like a really like famous location for that. Did you find it?
Khyber Pass copy is a firearm manufactured by Cottage Gunsmith in the Khyber Pass region of Pakistan.
Pakistan. Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
Copies of British Martini and Snyder firearms built in the Khyber region.
Uh-huh.
But there's like it's not just one like company. There's like a culture there.
A cottage industry, effectively.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Wow.
And I think it's just because of the location and because of like previous wars that have taken place in that region nearby, and like weapons end up all over the place through different people's hands and getting sold to this guy and whatever, you know, and probably weapons trafficking too, and whatnot. But I've seen some videos of like crazy shit people have made. A lot of like what do you call it? Gold plated stuff gets made from there too. A lot, anywhere from like, there's a wide range, anywhere from like really janky, like I would never shoot this because it looks like it's going to explode type of shit. And then like really exotic gold plated with engraving, like high end shit. Both can come out of this place.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty wild. I've seen some stuff like that. Like, I don't know if it was Pakistan, but it was like showing somewhere where like it was terrible because they had like kids and stuff working on it, but they just have like very basic like molds and presses they do where it's like you operate it by hand, but it's a hand press that like cranks out like a round of ammunition, you know? And I imagine like same thing to guns to like lesser, you know, some extent, you know?
Yeah.
Just kind of using.
You ever seen like
tools.
Same thing with there have been like cartels or like cartel bosses that get arrested or raided or whatever the fuck, and they find their stash of like special weapons and stuff.
Oh yeah,
gold
crazy
AKs
stuff.
and
Yeah,
all this crazy.
I'm
shit.
sorry.
What?
So two things. One, people are trying to say that this Larry Silverstein is his name, by the way, did get the payout for World Trade Center. People are trying to say that he got a $1 trillion payout for this bridge thing, which that's where I'm just like, okay, guys.
yeah, I'm a little dubious there because that level
down.
of money is very visible. Like it's kind of hard for someone to be in the shadows.
That's
with
literally
$1 trillion.
that's close to like a significant fraction of our entire U.S. debt. Let's be for real.
Yeah,
and also we should be, if that's the case, then we need to be like,
also,
we as a country need to raid this man's estate and pay off China for what we owe.
Right, like,
and that,
a little bit.
Also,
like that man
in
needs to
poverty.
be
that bridge ain't worth $1 trillion.
No, there's no fucking way. Like, yeah, that's wacky as
World
fuck.
Trade Center, maybe.
Also, what made me laugh was the fact that during looking it up, it shows me like alternative searches, right? And one of them is, what is the difference between a Maryland bridge and a regular bridge?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So there you go.
Well, you see a Maryland bridge.
The absolute state.
It's in Maryland while being a bridge.
See, it's distinguished by its location.
I think maybe it's because they really meant to say like the type of bridge. Like they think that all like having a suspension bridge is a Maryland thing. So like that's what you call that. It's a Maryland bridge.
The A there is doing a lot of heavy lifting for the stupid. Mm-hmm. If you just said what's the difference between Maryland bridge and a regular bridge, like that can make sense because Maryland bridge is like a unique kind of thing for what it is. A Maryland bridge. Like
is it unique? What's unique about it?
I mean, I'm sure there's unique things about every bridge depending on like the specific needs of like what the.
I didn't know about suspension bridges. What's it? I mean, what other type of like on that like large bridges of that scale? Do they make anything other than suspension bridges?
I am Blinky Block's beat boy. I don't know shit about civil engineering.
Even fucking the Roosevelt Bridge for Stewart. That's a big bridge. Yeah. Like I think a very respectable big bridge, and it's not a suspension.
That's
bridge.
True. Yeah, you're right.
So I think it just has to do with they have different names for them. I just don't know them off the top of my head.
Yeah. I would imagine it's probably to do with like the length because you think about. I'm thinking like what suspension bridges I know of, and they're all bridges that span like very long stretches that, you know, concrete pylons probably just wouldn't be as effective at maintaining.
I think it probably has a lot to do with the depth too of the body of water that it's going over. Because if you're going through like Louisiana, there's like a huge portion on the highway where you're like on a bridge for like miles and miles, but it's a lower bridge because it's just like swamp all around it. So I think, but if it was deep and it was long, then you would probably have trouble just using like columns to lift it up. I don't know.
You know, it just dawned on me, suspension bridges probably wouldn't work well in Florida because of like hurricanes and shit.
True.
Well, I mean, part of
high winds in general, rain.
Isn't part of like what suspension bridges are built for is kind of like to withstand winds. Isn't that part of like
why people I think so. Yeah, actually.
Yeah, because because of the length.
I thought it was just a weight thing, weight distribution thing.
Because I think that it probably is, again, I don't know shit. I feel like it probably does have something to do with like the logistics of getting like a bunch of concrete pylons in very deep bodies of water. But then also like you got to think if they're all attached to those pylons, however regularly enough in order to keep it from collapsing, if any force strikes that bridge, the rigidity of it would kind of like, you know, like it works out for the Roosevelt Bridge because it is like there's a lot of there's a lot of space for that air to move. So it's a very like high and drop kind of bridge. And it's not like it's a big bridge and it's nice, but it's not like there's not enough surface area there for like a hurricane to really like fuck with it too much. Whereas a suspension bridge, it's got like fucking these cable sails on it, you know, that sway things a lot more.
You know what? I'll say it. Civil engineering is fascinating.
It is. It's cool. It's cool to think about.
I know, like when they were making like the Hoover Dam or whatever it was like they had this like engineering problem they ran into where as they were trying to put it together, there kept being cracks in it, and it was because of how slow concrete like cures on its own. Okay. So to get it to work, the guy that like Roosevelt put in charge of it came up with this insane system where like they put piping through all of like where the concrete is, and they put like cold water through or whatever.
I think
to
I heard
make
of this.
The concrete cure faster. So it wouldn't form these cracks under the weight.
Interesting.
Pretty wild.
Imagine that bridge were to collapse though.
That's cool.
Like I've never been there, but that's got to be like kind of awe inspiring because that thing is huge.
Yeah.
And what's the other one that's in China that would like destroy civilization if it broke?
What?
Three Gorges Dam?
What?
I'm exaggerating, but
the Great Gorges Dam.
No, Three Gorges Dam.
Like holding back the biblical flood.
I think it's what it's called, right? No, but there's like a city or something on the other side of it that like if that bridge were to collapse, it would kill like millions of people.
Oh. Hope that doesn't happen.
Right? Yeah, right?
Yeah, Three Gorges Dam. You're right.
Well, give us some info, Jamie.
Three Gorges Dam is a hydroelectric gravity dam that spans the Yangtze River around the Sinduping Yiling district. Bro, I'm sorry. Not really, but Yichang, Hubei province, central China.
Don't you have to apologize to them.
Fair enough. They don't understand that I'm pronouncing this shit poorly anyway. Damn, that is a fat ass bridge.
Guzzy?
Or fat ass. Damn. Damn, that's a damn.
That bridge got a wagon on it.
That bridge.
It probably has had a wagon on it before. Yeah.
That's holding back a pretty... You look at the body of water that's holding back behind it. I could definitely see that being mildly catastrophic.
Mildly.
For anybody.
Mild inconvenience.
Yeah. Because you got to think, too. Like, look at that. It's going, like, around that bend there. There's, like, a whole nother fucking... Like, that's a lot of fucking water. Damn, that would suck. I would hate to have to live...
Is the 3 and 3 gorges because there's 3 pieces of it?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
It's probably, like, a... like, just where they meet.
Maybe.
In a body of water or something. I don't know.
You know what else fascinates me?
My knowledge of Chinese geography is also very limited, surprisingly enough.
Well, their understanding of anatomy is also... Never mind. I was about to say, you know what else fascinates me on the topic of water and bridges is anytime they show like Venice in like movies or shows, I'm thinking, what will it be like to live there? Where you like have to travel by boat, like the roads are boats. And imagine like you're on one of those corners where there is no bridge and you have to like, imagine you worked right next door, but you have to take this long path to get there.
No, at that point, you just get a really long pole and just like vault over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That sounds cool.
The canal. That's what I would
That'd be a cool place to live, though, I think.
If I was living in Venice, that's what I would do. But I'm sure that there's got to be people that
Imagine you live in Venice and like everyone's going around and they're like fucking gondolas and you have a jet ski.
Bro, that's
pissing off people so bad.
Bro, that's how I feel driving down 95 like almost every day. In my Corolla, literally just like on some like fucking children's jet ski, just speeding past dudes cruising like they're on a fucking gondola.
Yeah. No, like, that's what it was like.
This man has road rage.
I was starting to develop it on the way here, man.
Really? What happened to you?
No, just people just going like unnecessarily slow.
What is with? Well, I know why here because the police are in full like predator mode. But I mean, and are like
10 under the speed limit type shit. Like it's a 40 and they're going 30.
Yeah. Well, apparently the cops have been going absolutely buck wild to meet their quota for speeding tickets like around St. Lucie specifically.
Ooh.
Like I almost got on the way here, but you know I've got my gaydar fucking. I see cops wherever they are. And shit goes off. And they fucking like I don't know. It's a little treacherous on these streets. It's between the cops catching people that are speeding and all of the geriatrics that don't know that like have a hard time like using their 5 functioning like non-dementia brain cells to remember where the fucking gas pedal is. These streets are like genuinely treacherous.
What? So I can kind of tolerate the slow pokes out there, the lasagna drivers, but what really gets my goat is people like stopping really short, like last minute, forcing you to do the same.
Yeah.
And almost hit them. Or people who just like turn out into traffic. Like or something that happened on the way to me on the way here, actually.
Yeah.
Is I was one car behind somebody on Bayshore where this person turned out of a neighborhood last minute in front of. So it looks like, you know, all along Bayshore, there's like turns to go into the different plazas and shops and stuff. They're on one side, right? The other side's all like neighborhoods. Well, somebody pulled out last minute and they almost look like they're trying to just cross really quick, but no, last second they turn and go straight, basically cutting off the person right in front of me that's just traveling normal straight. And then all the 2 of us both had to like slam on our shit to not hit the guy.
Crazy.
Wow. Yeah. And
very annoying.
What gets my goat the most, because like I can understand like, you know, people just like, because not everybody is as like itching and not everybody hates driving as much as I do, you know, and it's like, or like being on the road unnecessarily long. Some people just want to cruise. They want to go the speed limit. I get it. That's fine. Whatever. If you're a truck, your work vehicle, you know, that's fine. I can understand. It's frustrating, but like I can understand it. What I don't understand are the people who will fucking cut you off and then go slow.
Yeah.
Or worse yet, the people that you're following behind that are going really slow. And so you try to go around them and they speed up to prevent you from going.
Yeah, that's the
those are the
ego
people.
thing.
Those are the people that redacted. That if I had my redacted, I fucking redacted them.
Yeah.
On the spot.
No, I agree. That is the worst. Like, it's nothing worse than when you're driving and it's like this faceless interaction where it's just somebody else in a vehicle. You don't know them. You can't see them. But like their ego is wounded by you trying to go around them. So then they speed up only because that you were trying to do that.
Just enough to be coasting right next to you.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing is like, I don't even really care about speeding that much. I like to go a couple miles over the speed limit, whatever. But I mostly just like to be away from other people.
Right.
So I speed up to get away. So
I got a ticket that way one time.
Really?
On 95, I got a ticket because there was, you know, sometimes on the highway, cars will kind of end up
cluster together. Yeah. Packs.
Right. Well, in this pack of like maybe 6 cars,
herd animals,
including me, there was like 6 cars, and one of them was highway patrol. They were in the left lane. I was in the middle. There was a car or 2 in front of me and a car or 2 in the right lane, and maybe one. I don't know. It was a cluster, right? But I get over to the left lane behind the cop, behind the highway patrol. He is going. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I messed this up. He's in the middle. I'm behind him. Mm-hmm. And I get over to the left to pass, specifically to spread out. Because there's a car behind me. I can't really slow down. Right. Because that would just be inconvenient for that guy. And it would kind of make the problem worse. So I was trying to go to the left of the officer and go forward. I pass him. He immediately pulls me over for that. And I'm like, trying to explain to him, like for safety reasons, I was trying to spread away. And I was only going like 5 over.
Yeah, no, I would have definitely contested that. I'd be like, I will go to court for that. I'd be like, it is a known thing to use the left lane for passing. Yes. So you can't pass without going faster than those cars. And I think it's legitimate to say that it would be safer to spread out the traffic rather than everyone being clumped together. And I tried to explain this to him, and he gives me the, oh, you ain't never dealt with FHP before. And I'm like, I guess you're right. So, like, you're telling me right now you're going to be an asshole to be an asshole, like, yes. Because that's like a brand image. Yes. Like, he's got to. He's trying to represent. Yeah, I'm sorry. You know, it's our handbook.
It's interactions like that. It's interactions like that that are why people fucking hate cops. Yeah. By the way, in case you guys didn't know, like. If you're nice to the people aren't going to fucking hate you. Like, I had one interaction when I was still like a teenager or whatever. So, of course, they're going to be like maximum assholes. Where I've always been polite and courteous. But I remember like me and my friends were going down. It was like Cameo or whatever. And the Turtle Run Park, you know where that is on there? So they say, oh, hey, let's pull in there. Because we were trying to figure out that, what we were doing. That like, we were just, intersection, right? Yeah. Like we were just driving around aimlessly. So we wanted to figure out what to do. So my friends were like, oh, let's go pull into the park. I'm like, hey, don't do that. Cops are immediately going to bother us if we go in there because I've seen it happen. Was it at night? Yeah, it was at night. That's why. So they're like, no, it'll be fine. We go in there, and sure enough, cops pull up immediately. And the cop that's like talking to us, I'm like, hey, sorry, we just stopped here because we were just talking and we were trying to figure out what we're doing. We didn't want to just keep driving around, you know, without knowing where we were going. And they're just being difficult. I remember the guy checks my ID and he goes, all right, so you're Michael? I'm like, no. He's like, well, it says that here on your license. I was like, yeah, it's my middle name. He's like, well, that's still one of your names, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, but nobody does that. Like, nobody just calls someone their middle name, and it's an accepted normal way to greet them. And like, again, I wasn't being rude or mean. He was just like being a dick to be a dick. It's like, what? You know what would be funny is like if it was you and I in the car and they did that to me, and he's like, so you're Ryan? And I'm like, no, he's Ryan. I should have just honestly been like even played it me more stupid because the guy was playing stupid. I've been like, no. He's like, what's it say on your license? But like, honestly, I can't tell you, but I know what they call me. Do you know what they call me, officer? I'm surprised you haven't heard about me yet. Shit. I always like that too when they're like, "Oh, do you have any known aliases?" It's like, and you, so like, many. There's some like impulse to like give yourself some cool underground nickname, but that also would not be good for you, like in this situation. The Big Steez. So I would tell. They call me 3 bodies. Don't ask me why. They call me the 3 body. I am the 3 body problem. Bro. They call me 3 bodies. Dog, I'm doing that. If a cop asks me that, I am fucking saying that. I don't care if I die. I don't care if I get shot. That's hilarious. Holy shit. No, but like, and
they call me Ass Rape McGee. You want to find out why?
Bro, they call me the Dong Ripper. Bro, fuck 12 on God. Put that on my mama.
Hit the cop of that line. It's like, I don't care what you'd call me. Just don't call me late for dinner or something. Then they arrest you.
Hit him with some airplane type jokes.
Yes, I will say though, it is very, very different from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. Because I like Jupiter. The Jupiter PD is like one of the most like both corrupt and shitty asshole like cops people that I've ever fucking put up with and heard of as far as like their practices. Whereas like Stewart PD, in my experience personally, I'm sure other people have had worse experiences than this. I know from firsthand experience that Stewart PD is corrupt as fuck. But I've been pulled over 3 times, and each time they didn't even warn me a ticket.
That's good.
And we're talking like I was pushing like 15, 20 over the speed limit. And, you know, I've just, you know, I know it probably has a lot to do with the fact that I know like the rigmarole. I pull over, I turn my car off, I open the both side windows and my hands on the thing. Mm-hmm. So they probably, you know, they probably appreciate that. Like I know how to, it's like fucking, I'm like, what's the dude's name? Crocodile Hunter. Steve Irwin, but with cops.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Basically, it's like you just gotta, yes, literally the cop whisperer. It's like if you speak to them in the God's English, you know, and like you've read a book in your life and you have like, you don't look like you're about to run off them or reach for your fucking glove compartment. They're probably going to be chill. And they all have been Stewart PD so far. So shout outs to them. Credit where credit is due. But Jupiter PD, y'all's a bunch of fucking bitches. You remember the fucking story? That's where that
gambling man.
Yeah, you a gambling man, son.
Tell Ryan about that.
What?
Dog? I got pulled over for going like, admittedly I was going 69, in like a 55, right? So you know, not that bad.
Yeah.
You know, but he fucking gets me.
Crime.
He fucking shut the fuck up. He fucking gets me. He's this motorcycle cop, literal fucking like. Porkus beats his wife, fucking pulls me over with his like his grayed out buzz cut, and you know pulls me over. I'm like, you know how fast you were going, son? I'm like, yeah, I was going like 10 over the speed limit. And he's like, are you sure about that? I'm like, yes, I am willing to do that. I'm like, he's like, are you a gambling man, son? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, because I got the speed gun reading right here that says you were going 69. And at that point,
I would have just said, nice.
Yeah, I almost did. When he showed me the 69, inwardly, if I wasn't so like, if I didn't feel like this is the type of guy who would like shoot me at a moment's notice, I would have just been like, you know, like inwardly I kind of was. That's but funny. Yeah, this guy fucking.
Are you a gambling man? That's a good one.
Yeah.
I've just been like, well, I mean, if I know the odds and the potential payout, but otherwise, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell the story carefully because it includes someone's name, and their name is integral to the story. Now, I won't say their first name, but their last name is very ambiguous enough that I think it's okay.
Just bleep it in post.
Okay. I could do that if it's that bad. I got pulled over one time while I was in the process of when I was first moving out, like my first time when I was like 18, moving out of my mom's house. And it was like the middle of the night. I took a trip to the house to grab some stuff in my Jeep and bring it to where I was moving to. And cops pulled me over. Earlier that day, I gave a friend a ride, and he was a big weed smoker. And maybe I will probably leave this out. His last name was Mann, which is a very like generic sounding name. It's like naming your kid Guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Guy Man.
Well, his first name was his name was Man.
Wow.
That part I'll complete.
That's even worse.
But anyway, so the next day I get pulled over for literally nothing, I guess. I don't know why. Like, I still don't know why. I got let off with a warning, or not a warning, but I didn't get any kind of tickets or any trouble or anything. But I got pulled over, I guess, because I looked suspicious because of where I was driving and the time. I don't really know.
That doesn't even sound like probable cause. That sounds weak.
I don't even know what the reason was to this day. Got pulled over. Literally like 6 cop cars pulled up. Like it was like way overkill for the situation. They asked to search my car, and I said, no, I just want to go home. And they got a dog and sniffed it anyways because I said no, of course. Mm-hmm. And they got a hit on it or whatever and searched the car, and they found a roach that was like that big in like the glove compartment or something, and
planted that shit.
And this was like one of those cliche moments of like, I genuinely didn't know that was there. That was probably somebody else's, even though usually that's a lie that you hear, a generic cliche lie.
It could have been planted, man. I've seen multiple genuinely body cam videos.
Well, I don't think it was the police. No, I don't think it was the police that planted it. I think it was my friend who like left it in my car.
Yeah.
Either by mistake or just negligence, or I don't know.
And I don't trust the dogs thing either. I've been in that before. They're like, oh, well, you can either consent to us searching it, or we'll come by with the dogs. And if the dogs bark, then we have to search it. Right. And if we have to put down whatever we find. Like, that's what they tell you. They say, like, oh, if you let me search and I find something like small or whatever, maybe we'll just throw it out. But if the dogs come, it's all by the books and you're getting arrested if they go off. Because apparently if the dogs bark, you're getting arrested.
I didn't get arrested.
Which is a lie.
You upset them. So.
But what happened was they find the roach, and that's literally the only thing that I had other than like, he said that like my air freshener was suspicious because only weed smokers would have a fucking air freshener. I'm like, that's retarded, but okay. What? But anyway, so he asked me, is this yours? And I'm like, honestly, I don't think so. And I tell him that was my friend's, because I think it was my friend's who I gave a ride. And this is again, like super cliche, but I'm telling the truth here.
Yeah.
I could not for the life of me remember his first name. My friend's first name. I was going to give him up because I didn't even know him like that.
No, well.
He was not like a friend. He was like an acquaintance I knew through somebody else.
And they asked you what his name was, and you said Man?
I told him like his last name is Man. And then the cop was like, do you think I'm stupid?
Yes, but also his name was actually Man.
But it was actually Man. I swear to God.
That's hilarious,
bro.
His first name was nondescript.
Yeah, but I genuinely, for the life of me, could not remember his first name. And I told the officer that like I can't remember his name, but his last name is Man, and he was not believing me at all. Did not believe me.
I mean,
but I still somehow got off.
Truth be told,
if
I was a cop and somebody told me the dude's like that story, like. Because who the fuck, as far as like making up last names go, who's the fuck, like who thinks of Man? Who goes for like purposely the most generic possible word to use as a last name?
That just reminded me of, I don't even know why, but this like crazy story. Okay, like talking about telling the truth, but people not believing you. I can't remember all the details, but there's this crazy story about this fucking couple that like disappeared, and they said that they were like kidnapped, and that the man got away or whatever. The man got away, but the woman was still kidnapped by this weird guy who like showed up in like a wetsuit or something and like drugged them and tied them up or whatever.
Holy shit.
And like the guy was making like some weird crazy demands to get like the girlfriend or the wife back or whatever. And it just all sounded so insane and unbelievable that they were like, okay, sure thing, dude. Like you killed your girlfriend and you came up with this elaborate story about how she got kidnapped. Okay, then the girlfriend shows up like hundreds of like miles away or whatever.
Hundreds of years later.
At her parents' house, alive and well. And she corroborates that exact story. And it turns out everything they said was true. This weird ass dude who like had some like schizophrenia or whatever, had actually done this kidnapping and was making these crazy demands. It was, none of it was made up.
Glad they both got out of it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I mean, the guy did sexually assault that woman, though.
Oh,
so, I mean,
how did she end up getting out of that?
He just let her go. And that was another part of why they didn't believe the story is they went from saying that, like the authorities went from thinking that he was faking it because he murdered her to then thinking that they were complicit in a hoax, that they intentionally did a hoax.
Also, even when she was free, they didn't believe it.
Yes, because they were like, he let you go? This guy kidnapped you and let you go.
So when did it come to light? Like, when did they turn around and finally...
I think they found the guy somehow, but I don't remember exactly. I'm tempted to look at the story.
Going around in a fucking wetsuit, kidnapping people cannot be all that difficult to spot. I assume as soon as the second person comes around and it's like, yeah, some weirdo in a fucking wetsuit walked out to me and tried to inject me with some shit, the cops are probably not going to look at him like, oh, so you're complicit in this hoax too? Come here. Just implicating every murder victim of a mass killer as being complicit in a hoax.
Okay,
right,
so Netflix has a special for it.
Are you serious?
Okay, yeah. It said Tunnel Vision, why police didn't believe kidnapped couple featured in Netflix's American Nightmare. It was the kidnapping of Denise Huskins, who it says her kidnapping baffled police, who publicly cast doubt on her and her boyfriend, Aaron Quinn, for months in 2015. I want to see if it just says how they found the guy. Yeah, she was held captive for 2 days. Miraculously, she would reappear 2 days later outside her family's home in Orange County, a moment that in many cases would have been a time of relief. But however, her sudden reappearance at her mother's house only made investigators even more suspicious, and they began to cast doubt publicly. So I think they ended up suing like the police department or the state or whatever. Yeah, for like emotional trauma and stuff, and publicly calling them hoaxers and shit like that. Says for 3 months, police would continue to doubt on Huskins and Quinn, a public pressure that Quinn told people had severely impacted their attempt to return to their normal lives. That's shit you say for the lawsuit. You know, you got to say that when people ask you. Yeah. But no, I mean, I think it is kind of valid. They should have sued. And said stop them from getting jobs. And 3 months after, authorities got a break in the case, tying evidence from a similar kidnapping at a home roughly 40 miles away from Vallejo. Authorities would eventually arrest Matthew Mueller, a former Marine and disbarred Harvard-educated immigration attorney. So they found the guy because of a similar kidnapping he did.
Damn. You know what's fucked about when you sue police departments is that if you win that payment,
that you have to move and find a new place to live, because otherwise you're always going to be looking over your shoulder because God knows what they'll do in retaliation. I hear about shit like that all the time.
Sure, but I was talking about, it sucks that the money comes from like the taxes of like other people in your city that had nothing to do with it.
Right. The police don't pay. You just pay more for the police's mistakes.
Yeah. I feel like it should come from the department itself. Like they should suffer that consequence for big fuck ups at least.
Lose their like repoed Ferrari. Have you seen that photo?
No, what happened here?
I'm not sure.
I thought it was a Porsche.
It was probably a Porsche. Yeah. It wasn't a Ferrari, but it was very nice. And they like it was like supposed to go to auction from some drug dealer or something it was taken from, but the police department, like some company that did wraps, like did a sheriff wrap on this fucking Porsche for them. So I think they're just using it. Yeah, I think they're just keeping it.
That's hilarious. I mean, shit, could they have bought it? If they bought it, they've won it fair and square at the auction.
That's true.
You know, hey.
They got to use it now. They can't just let it sit. Or for show. They got to use it.
If a Porsche pulls up to pull me over, I'm
like, yo, can I get your
immediately for sure.
Can I get your autograph, bro?
Yeah, right.
You're the Porsche sheriff, dude. Let me get a picture with you. Like, that's the easiest fucking ticket to get out of my life.
Right.
I just gas him the fuck up, bro. Your car is so sick. Because you know every cop riding around their fucking Camaros, especially up 95, fucking
so cool.
FHP loves their fucking Camaros, man. Gotta tell you, fucking ain't got shit on my Corolla though.
I saw a video.
Try me
recently. I don't know when the incident actually happened, but the video I saw was recent, and it was this guy. I don't know the backstory, but the police are trying to pull over or like talk to this guy who's in a front loader, big machine thing, and they don't go that fast, but it's hard to stop one of those things. So he just carries on, starts like leaves it looks like they're like some kind of work site, and he just leaves, goes on the regular roads with it, and is evading police, and the police somehow convince some other guy to get into another front loader to help them stop the other guy. So this guy in a front loader is helping the police stop, and basically they ended up like partially flipping the machine over, like to get this guy to stop.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is like, if that guy causes like damage or something, like, is he responsible, or the police that told him to do it responsible?
Oh no, they will absolutely throw him under the bus. And
that's what I'm saying.
100%.
And all the body camera recordings where they told them it was okay will be, lost somehow.
Archived.
Right. That also scares me when like, if like police are in like a shooting situation, and sometimes you see this happen where citizens that are also armed come to help. Imagine like, okay, on one end, it's kind of like cool that they're putting themselves in danger to help. But at the same time, imagine one little mistake that they make gets them also in trouble. Because maybe they're shooting the bad guy or whatever, and they end up accidentally shooting, like a stray shot goes into like some other person's car and hurts them, which police do all the time. We've seen that happen before, and they don't get in trouble for that.
I'm surprised that didn't happen with the dude who got freaked out over the acorn hitting his car.
Oh my God.
Acorn guy.
Dog. The dude literally just
barrels and everything.
That,
I'm hit.
Bro, ain't no way.
They asked him why he said he was hit, and he's like, I don't know. I just feel weird.
Bro.
Yeah, bro. Like, that was like the worst. Like, I almost, when that video came out, dead ass, even my fucking like ACAB ass was like, damn, I feel so bad for the cops right now. Because this is such a bad look.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, like there is no, like they're not going to recover from that for a long time.
I think what makes it bad is at first it's like, oh, you could get away with saying like, oh, it's just one dumbass who ended up being a cop. But it's when his partner also starts shooting because he's shooting.
Wait, that happened?
Yes. The partner
At
cop.
what?
The cruiser that they had handcuffed the guy and put in. They both start unloading on it.
He didn't take any shots though, did he? I think he
was
cop? Obviously
no. The guy in the car was handcuffed. He did not have a gun.
No. But he didn't get hit by any of their shots. No,
he's miraculously survived because they were like stormtroopers and they lit up the back of the police cruiser and did not hit the guy. Thankfully.
Did you also see? There's another clip that okay, I forget again where this was, but some city. Two police pull up and they're trying to stop this woman who's just walking, and the woman just like very nonchalantly pulled out a gun and just like looking back at them starts randomly shooting, like not really fully aiming, just like in their direction. And the two cops kind of panic and fall back behind cover for a second, but the lady isn't really even running or anything. She just keeps walking. And the other two cops are like the best way I could describe it is like incompetently doing nothing to stop the person. And then she ends up getting away. Like she just like walks to the end of that block and like turns the corner.
The most Giga Chad shit I've heard all day.
She just like turns the corner, and like most of the camera view that we're seeing is the body cams, but also there's like some other camera like on a building that catches all the altercation. And you see her just like literally walk away. And I think she like dropped the gun or something. Wow. And she just walks away and leaves. And the cops are just like panicking and doing nothing. They got shot at a couple times, panic, fall back, and the lady just walks away. That was it.
Damn, that's insane. Love that for her. Shouts out to you, lady, wherever you are. You're a hero among men and women. So I sometimes really I go down that rabbit hole of like street fights. I told you about this recently, about like street fights or like schoolyard fights or like people getting jumped and defending themselves. Like that's kind of a good like secondhand feeling to have for somebody. They're getting jumped and they like win the fight or whatever. Well, this one was this guy approaches, again, this is like a camera that's like on a building looking down at the sidewalk. And this guy approaches, I think it was in Chicago. This guy approaches this lady, and I forget the story if she's either off-duty police or former police. One of those two. But the guy starts attacking her, and like they're like kind of locked because he's like trying to steal some shit from her, and she's like yelling at him like, I'm gonna shoot you right now. And she pulls out her gun, shoots his ass, and he's like, damn, you shot me for real. And he's like, damn. He's like limping away. Yeah, it reminds me of the
I didn't expect that shit. Like, told you.
There's a couple of different things for that. First of all, there was one that I saw, an Uber driver who got cut off, dude makes him pulls out the road in front of him, and like fucking busts out his fucking car like a cartoon character with a fucking 9 and starts walking out. And was like, yeah, you didn't expect me to have a fucking pistol, did you? Little did you know, the Uber driver did in fact expect somebody driving like that to have a pistol, and just fucking pulled out the fucking tactical fanny pack, pulled out his own gat and fucking gunned him down like on site immediately.
I think I've seen that one.
And the best part is like this dude's last dying words were like, "Bro, I didn't even shoot you."
Yeah, I did see this one. Yeah, bro, I didn't even shoot you. As if there's like rules.
Yeah,
this.
Right. Yeah,
like,
you fucking idiot.
You showed a gun. Like I wasn't gonna give you the chance.
Yeah, like
right?
bro.
It's like, oh, that's the rule. You can't shoot unless you get shot first.
That and I saw you bringing up fighting videos reminded me this nice little tie into both of them. I was watching this video on both of these were on probably in the same like looking at Facebook Shorts, whatever they call them, like at the same thing. But I saw another video of like a mutual combat situation with like cop oversight where two dudes just like agreed to beat the shit out of each other, and a cop was just there to watch and make sure that nobody died.
Really?
Like, yeah, that's legal in like a bunch of states apparently.
That's kind of rad.
Yeah. The funny thing about it was just like at a certain point, homeboy gets like knocked out, like literally like punched in the face to the degree that his arms do this in front of him, and he just like falls backwards.
Oh, that's not good. That's
and you
like
just
TBI.
Yeah, and you just hear the cop in the backwards go, "Oh damn!" Yeah, literally like, "Oh damn!"
That's hilarious.
Yeah, anytime you see somebody's like limbs shoot out like that, that usually means they've had like a traumatic brain injury.
Oh yeah, He was fenced out for sure, but
yeah, fenced posture, right? That's
yeah,
all that.
And it was pretty bad, but it was just the cop's reaction because it's like he's supposed to be there to oversee the fight. Obviously, at that point,
Was he a ref?
I mean, technically, I don't know what the laws are like there, but apparently, you can just two dudes having an issue can literally just go up to a cop and be like, "We are about to have a mutual combat situation. Can you oversee this?"
Like
and the cop
basically,
yeah, and the cop be like, "I bet."
Fists.
Yes, literally, like a duel, yeah. And the cop's just like, "Yeah, sure, okay, let's just see what happens."
Sign here.
Yeah,
Go.
and I just thought that was hilarious. Rare cop
imagine
W.
imagine in those like states where that's like a thing, the cops have to carry like a ref shirt in the car.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, just give me 1 second, let me go get my ref attire, put it on, touch gloves.
Yes, exactly. Get my ref attire out, put the dog in a little ref costume.
Right? It's like, I've been waiting for this.
Yes, I'm ready.
Oh man. Police dogs are crazy too, because I mean, you mentioned, I think some of it is kind of bullshit, but police dogs are simultaneously extremely well trained, but also fucking animals still.
Right.
And they fuck up all the time.
To pull them off of people.
They struggle to pull them off people. They attack the wrong people sometimes.
Oh, God.
I've seen plenty of clips where police are basically tackling a guy or whatever, and the dog that's present is biting one of the other cops because he just gets mistaken for whatever reason.
Well, like that's the thing with animals is, they talk about, it happens all the time when people try to break up dog fights between two dogs is redirected aggression, is that when they're put into their like fight or flight mode, they're just fighting anything next to them. Like whatever's the closest moving thing, they're going to fight, you know? So, yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, I saw a funny clip again under these YouTube or internet clips. Apparently the story that was in the text, I don't know how true this is, but this is the backstory I was given. So I'm still going to tell you. Some like lawn service crew illegally entered a gated community, like behind somebody else who was supposed to be in there, right? You know how you just kind of sneak in behind when the gate's still open? Mm-hmm. And they were soliciting service, trying to like give people cards and whatever. And not supposed to do that. But they had dogs with them for whatever reason, and the dogs escape the truck and then starts fighting one of the homeowner's dogs. Mm-hmm. The dog the view we're seeing is a camera within the garage, and you see the dog retreat to the garage, two other dogs chasing it, fighting it, and then the homeowner comes up, scares the two dogs away, like hits one of them and and then they run away. And then the guy runs across the street to somebody who's clearly one of those workers, and he just runs up and just like sucker punches him for bringing the dogs there in the first place.
That's hilarious.
Like that redirected aggression.
Yeah.
On a human level.
Yeah.
Deserved though.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes
deserved
sense.
in that scenario. But I just thought that was hilarious. Like instant, what do they call it? Instant karma or instant justice. Scenarios are like very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, no, I do enjoy those as well. It's like somebody doing something stupid or just like selfish and then immediately facing consequences for it. It's very satisfying because often in real life, you don't get that. Like,
no.
If there is like a comeuppance, it happens behind the scenes after the fact, Like for like the rare instance when you see somebody blow a red light and a cop actually stops them.
Right.
So many times I just see people like the light turned red like 5 seconds ago and now you blowing through it. Not like it just turned red. Blatant. And then you're just like, okay, well, all right, well, they're just going to go on and keep doing that. Oh, you know,
putting people in harm's way. Yeah. I love those. Well, have you seen those, this new, like, it's not new. It's kind of been a thing for a while, but I think it's had a reemergence lately of IRL streamers.
Oh yeah,
go around
like the Ice Poseidon.
All they do is just harass people.
Yeah,
but like Ice Poseidon was like kind of like the OG of that, but like it's had a new wave of people doing it.
Well, I saw the guy in Japan.
They're being that guy,
like the asshole racist guy in Japan.
Johnny Somali is his name.
Yeah,
but people are doing this now, but doing it in a way more in your face, like trying to start shit type of way, rather than just being a nuisance.
Yeah,
like I don't recall Ice Poseidon like trying to pick fights with people.
Right,
he was just being annoying.
Yeah, being annoying,
saying shit and inappropriate. Right, but now there's like young adults, like kids basically, who are wealthy enough and popular enough to have bodyguards. There's one in particular I'm thinking of that I don't remember his name, but people probably know who I'm talking about, who he'll just go around at the mall or just wherever and like
is he the one who got shot at the mall? There was a guy like that, like an IRL guy who like
I know what you're talking about too. I think that's a different case. This guy, maybe it's the same, I don't know. This kid, I'm calling him a kid, but he's like, early 20s, something. Mm-hmm. But he has a bodyguard and he just goes around to people, starting shit, getting in their face, being annoying, shoving people, whatever. And then before the person can retaliate, the bodyguard steps in. He's like, what are you going to do? You know, like being, like the kid's just hiding behind his muscle is all he's doing. And then I just want to see those people get rocked, bro.
Yeah.
And now there's another even younger kid who's like emulating it. And this was like viral recently. There's a kid who's like even younger, who's like genuinely underage, like not even 18. Mm-hmm. Like I want to say he's like 14, 15, doing the same shit. The viral video or stream or clip, whatever, that was going on recently was, I don't know where he's at, but he's walking down the street and there's like outdoor seating or outdoor dining for a restaurant. And he walks past this lady. There's two ladies at a table and this lady has like a plate of nachos or something. He walks by, just shoves his hand in her food and like grabs a chip and eats it and walks away. Like without even acknowledging them or stopping to talk to them. Nothing. Just like shoves his hand in their food, eats their food, and keeps walking. And it's this kid and then a slightly older kid who's like scrawny, not even like a bodyguard. And then the person who's holding the camera. And the lady obviously gets pissed, starts yelling at him because she's like a grown woman. Like she could be his mom probably. Right. Starts yelling at him. The other kid, they're doing that shit that like kids when they're angry do, where they're like hopping around somebody like as if they're gonna fight, but they don't ever do anything. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. That, like stance that they do. Yeah. Stance and dance. Yeah. I'm gonna coin that term. It's a stance and dance. But they don't actually do anything. And then the girl's just like, how old are you, 5? Don't you put your hand in my fucking food? She's just going off, right? And the kid's like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it? But bro, I just like, I don't condone unnecessary violence. But in a case like this, that kid needs to just get smacked one time.
Yeah, it would be hilarious to see.
Like, I want to know, like, what the parents, like, where are they?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
That's crazy.
Maybe he has shitty parents. That's why he's doing this.
I'm wondering, yeah, because I mean, it's one thing to support your kid in wanting to do like content creation, which I mean, I think is pretty cool. And I think like, if ever there's a time to do it, that's when it makes sense. Like if you're a kid and you don't have bills and things, and you know, if you're doing safe,
your time constructively in some way.
Yeah, you could potentially build up like a little following for yourself. But if what you're literally doing is harassing people, I can't imagine the parents have zero awareness of it. Like you're letting your kids upload to the internet and you're not watching it.
Imagine the kid, like the kid I'm talking about, doing this, and the parents are like at home watching the stream.
Wow. Bro. That's not good.
I wonder what the reaction is. I kind of want to see that follow up to the scenario.
Yeah.
Of like the parents' reaction to the whole thing.
I'd just like to find out if anything happened to the kid. Like, I would have just been like, I don't know. I guess you can't. I don't know if you could really call the cops for that, but
I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, probably. I don't know what they'll do.
Yeah.
If
probably
anything,
trespass them, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that. If anything, like, I'll just talk to the restaurant and be like, hey, you won't believe what just happened, but
yeah.
Can I get a new plate of nachos?
Yeah, I would just ask. Yeah, sure. You could just ask that, and then it becomes the restaurant's problem, and then the restaurant will make them leave.
Yeah.
Like, hey, these people are harassing me, and they just stuck their hand in my food. So I need another one.
Yeah.
And also something to be done about this.
Yeah, I need these kids gone.
Yeah.
I hate. And then the other dude, the guy in Japan, just doing the most obnoxious and like rude and like culturally insensitive shit possible. Mm-hmm. And then didn't he like have an altercation with like a construction site where there was like Yakuza people or something?
Wow, really? I didn't hear about that one.
Maybe like Yakuza part's made up, but I think that was a story where there was like a building that was under construction and he was like trespassing or going to trespass or whatever. And people that were at the building were getting him to leave. And I don't know how true this is. I'm just regurgitating what I heard, right? Mm-hmm. Is that they were like gang people that were like operating that building. And there was, for some reason, they were on site and they were like the security trying to get this guy to leave. And like this guy was just knocking at a door that he does not want answered. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like imagine you're like, you pull up to a trap house and you're trying to like start shit with gang members or something. Like this is not
did they
the
do
place.
Anything to him or what?
I think he just got roughed up. I think he eventually got arrested. I don't think it was related to that specifically, but that guy, because he's like known, he got pretty infamous for just harassing
I've seen
people.
him like clips of him getting like punched and shit because people identified him and knew who he from his other shit. Talking about like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, like yelling it out on like a train. And
I've seen that. Yeah. Didn't he have like the IRL streamers? Didn't he have like the voice to text or text to voice thing?
Yes.
Where people could just comment horrible shit and he would just say it out loud. And then there were people next to him that were just like, yo, stop.
Yeah,
stop
they're like, why are you doing that? Like, it's embarrassing. Like, it makes me in secondhand embarrassed.
Me too.
Where'd Trey go?
I think he's taking a shit.
This man's, he fell in.
He fell in the toilet, bro. What's been with you lately, bro? Or just what's been going on in general?
I mean, not much. I mean, it's kind of just been, so I moved into a new place at the beginning of this year. So it's like April now. So I guess we're going into 4 months there. That's been good. It's chill and everything. Like I said, just been going to work and then trying to go home as much as possible. And if I can, pay my bills, you know, it's very exciting. But
it's a side quest.
Yeah, it's like pretty much it's like every month picking what thing that you're going to be late on so you could pay for the other things. And then
I've been there, yeah.
And then the next month you just alternate, you know, that thing gets paid and something else has to be late.
Yeah. Are you at least still like doing a lot of photography things?
I haven't done any in a while. It's probably been like 2 months. I just haven't been active with it, but I'm definitely going to get back into it soon. I mean, I know there's some people that want photos and stuff, so just haven't been super active with it in the past couple months.
Mm-hmm. I was at Kava Cat recently for our friend Ian and Lily.
Yeah,
had a little jazz and pop show thing going on over there, and I was watching on their. This is like the first time I've been to Kava Cat in months, but they have a TV up there where the menu was, or it is their menu now, I guess.
Yeah,
but it was alternating between a bunch of photos, and I'm like looking at those, like I bet you. Those are a bunch of Ryan stuff.
That's possible. I mean, it's funny because they had an older slideshow in there that was like a lot of it was pictures that I had done for them, but it was out of date. So they had their big like anniversary like a couple months ago. And that's what the last major thing I worked on. I did photos for them for that. So they might have updated it with some of the new ones. Because, it was something like, I don't know. I think I produced those like 50 pictures like for them in the last set. Which for like actual edited photos, that's quite a bit, you know?
Yeah.
But it was pretty fun. It was a good event. It was like the 6th anniversary thing or whatever.
That's cool. Yeah, I think I was there for that. Actually.
Probably. All right. I also actually need to use the bathroom.
Oh, tag team. He's tagging out.
So wait, where is there
poop time?
Somewhere easy to locate?
Yeah, literally the first door to the left. That isn't the front door to the house.
The other one to the left.
The other first, the next first door to the first door after the first door to the left.
Yeah. What's up with you?
I know.
How's your poop?
For fucking majestic, firm, smooth. Can't complain, bro. Chipotle. It's always been weird to me the fact that like my whole life I've always heard that like Chipotle, you know, South Park has a whole fucking episode about it. Will just like make you like take diabolical shits and like we'll
Taco Bell.
Yeah, well, Taco Bell I can understand, but like Chipotle is literally the only thing I can go out to eat, like restaurant wise, that doesn't make me feel like I'm going to fucking die like hours later. You know, obviously, like, you know, higher end restaurants with like better quality ingredients and all that. Like, you know,
what other restaurants do you eat at even? Because I don't know what else you eat besides Chipotle or occasionally Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, like maybe once a month, like just as a treat, or if there's like nothing else like around, or if it's closer or more convenient. But even then, I try to avoid it because it kind of fucks me up a little bit. Other than that, like I normally just don't eat out. I'll either cook my own food or I'll eat Chipotle. And if I am going out, it'll usually be somewhere nice, like Berry Fresh or fucking Lenora's. Or
do you ever bring pre-made food with you anywhere? Like no. Bring your own lunch or something somewhere?
No. I don't have the time. I ain't got the time to make my own food. Because you know, I'm just a modern man out here grinding like a modern man.
You don't got 5 minutes to make a sandwich?
What?
You don't got 5 minutes to make a sandwich to bring with you?
A sandwich ain't gonna sustain me. That's another reason why I just go with Chipotle, because like I eat one Chipotle burrito and I'm pretty much fed for the entire day.
Yeah. Like
all this 3-course meal bullshit, that's a scam. Like all I need is the one burrito, and like
I don't think it's a scam. I think it heavily depends on like what you're doing.
Yeah, like one
your
burrito
activity
and like 3 liters of water. So about a gallon of water.
I can definitely get away with 1 or 2 meals in a day and be fine some days. But then if it's like a busy day, like I don't know, just if I'm all over the place doing a lot of different stuff, doing a lot of errands, going to different jobs or like whatever, like if it's just a busy day, I'm definitely going to be hungrier than just the average, like go to work and go home day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I definitely have those days. So it's also one of those things where like, where I was at recently would be like, I wasn't even making enough money to really feed myself that much. And I would go for like days at a time, just like not eating anything at all, which has lent itself a lot to why I've lost so much weight over the past few months. But I mean, since then, it's like you don't eat as much. Your stomach shrinks, which is a very real thing, or at least it has been for me. And then I just like don't overfeed myself, and then my body regulates itself at a pretty like good spot. And so like basically my whole like gut biome is like conditioned like portionally and functionally to consuming a single Chipotle burrito. The only thing that
your stomach is burrito size is what you're saying.
Yes.
It's like
it's burrito size and burrito like, conditioned.
It's like the IQ test of the shapes. It's like only burrito fits in there.
Yes. You know, and the only thing that I don't like about Chipotle is how fucking salty it is. And I already have history of heart problems in my family, and I'm 6'3", and I'm half black, so I cannot be affording to fuck around with anything that could fuck with my heart at this point. But
that's why I'm scared of certain drugs.
But that's also why I fucking drink hella fucking water. Stay hydrated, y'all.
Yeah.
Not sponsored yet, but you know,
we should have our own brand of water one day.
Right? Ghost water.
Bro,
get a
Ghost on the Aqua.
Dude, do what they do on like a bunch of other podcasts that I've seen. Just get Ghost on the Aux stickers and just like stick them on the water bottles. Yeah. Bro, why not?
Why not?
We balling like that. We got like 5 videos on the last one, 5 views on the last one.
Yeah.
Pretty balling out now.
We got like 7 views total on a prank upload.
Really? Dude, I wish you were a little bit, I wish you made it out to be more like a picture of Pink. Like the artist. Yeah, that's what I was shooting for. Because that's the whole thing with the April Fool's show. You're not supposed to make it obvious.
You're right.
You know? It was still funny, but I feel like it would have got like I thought it was still hilarious, but I feel like it would have gotten more engagement had it, just been like, hey, we got Pink on the podcast, and then it's just an hour of Pink noise. Yeah. And it wouldn't be upload, and it wouldn't be unprecedented since we did get Billy Mays III on here, and so
that's the next step up.
And Pink is pretty much she's probably on about the same level of celebrity at this point in her career, I would imagine.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about Pink lately.
I haven't heard anything about Pink since like 2007, so I would imagine by now.
Last thing I heard about Pink was probably 2010 with that song with Eminem that was in Call of Duty.
You're right.
That's the last thing I've heard about Pink.
Huh. What the fuck is Pink doing? What's Pink up to?
Yeah, what's Pink up to? I should have put that. That should have been like an article, like the image in the podcast, which was like an article of like what she's up to lately.
There's got to be like a Twitter account that's like Pink Updates. Pink Updates. What I mean? And it's like just very small things, Like
I discovered a website recently.
Oh, she's still touring.
She's touring?
Damn, girl.
Cool.
Get that shit. Get the bag. What the fuck? Yeah, good for her. Okay.
Has she been releasing music?
I don't know. Let's peep the spoofy.
I saw a funny website recently that was I think it's ismycomputeron.com.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's just a single piece of text that just says yes.
Yeah.
That was a great video.
Yeah. I think I know I follow that guy too. He puts like tips videos up or whatever. Yeah. No, that one was good because like he goes into Edge and then he downloads Chrome and then he uses like Chrome to look up Google on Google to then go to Google and then to type in the website in the search bar.
Using Google to get to Google fucking killed me.
That was amazing.
Also, he actually shouted out the fact that somebody's still talking about Firefox in 2024 also killed me. Okay, so she just released an album last year called Heaven Knows, and the last track on it is Boy's a Liar Part 2 featuring Ice Spice. So she's still active and working with relevant art. Like,
she's got features.
All right, now Pink out.
I think Ice Spice is a plant.
Oh wait, hold on a second.
Because she just kind of maybe I'm just completely ignorant, but I feel like she just literally popped out of fucking nowhere.
That was Pink Panthers. I'm sorry, that has nothing to do with Pink.
Oh,
Pink.
Very easy.
Also released an album last year. Okay. So with featuring Sting. So yes, okay, that's a lot more age appropriate.
That makes more sense.
The Lumineers, yeah, okay. Brandy Carlisle, yeah, okay.
Am I alone in this Ice Spice thing though?
What?
No, I kind of agree.
Because like
sort of appeared overnight.
I feel like the first thing I heard of, like the first time I ever heard about her was like shortly before the Super Bowl happened, like sometime in that time frame.
This recent one?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Or maybe a few months before that.
Yeah, no, she's been around for like a good year or so before that popped off.
Maybe my timeline's a little fucked up, but sometime in the last like 5 or 6 months is the first time I heard of her ever. But somehow she's like one of the most popular people on the planet.
Yeah.
Like, where did she fucking come from?
Where did she go? Where did she come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Yeah.
But no, like I kind of had a similar realization the other day when I was watching some reality TV show with Matt Future, which we will gush about, I'm sure, when he's on here, because it's just one of those things. It's funny. But I was talking about how like, why do these people go onto the show just to humiliate themselves for like $5,000 or some shit and sign up to these egregious, atrocious contracts, like life-ruining contracts to be on like, I forget exactly what the show is called. Love is Blind. That's what it is.
Heard of this, yeah.
Yeah. And like the contract to that show is fucking obscene.
Really?
Yeah, and the payout ain't shit. And I'm like, why the fuck do people do it? And he explained it's like they basically they do it basically to like launch their careers as D-list celebrities more often than not. Honestly, and I was wondering like, well, because like the thing that got me wondering about it, because like I remember watching Big Brother as a kid, right? Mm-hmm. Like with my mom, like back when Big Brother was like the big reality TV show. And I remember those people would go on to be like legit like celebrities that most people knew about, but then like
that's kind of like Jersey Shore happened.
Exactly. Well, but then that stuff kind of fell off, and like I'm wondering recently, like, is that even still work? Because I'd never hear about like anybody on any of these reality TV shows anymore. And he brought up the very good point of basically that like all of that being filter bubbled out of my purview and my perception because of I don't consume that style of content, and so obviously I'm not going to hear or see anything about these types of people.
But I don't know.
But a lot of people do.
Those seem kind of valid. Like the Netflix era reality shows seem to be producing less like minor like celebrity figures. Well, that kind of seems that way.
But then he showed me their pages though, and they are like legitimately huge and popular.
Well, it seems to me that so
not millions, but like hundreds of thousands.
Somebody pointed out.
Yeah.
Somebody pointed out one time, I might have gotten this from a YouTube video. I don't know where I got this information, but a lot of like the mid 2000s reality boom came because of writer strikes. There was a writer strike in like 07 ish
like
time frame.
One, like the Heroes one. Like that was going on when Heroes was on TV.
That sounds right. Yeah.
They were affected by it.
And so because of a lack of writers, they just started doing reality shows because you basically don't need like professional writers. Yeah. I mean, they do script shit, but they don't need like professional writers to do it. They just have people being characters sort of. So big boom of that. A bunch of those people go on. Some of those people go on to actually be celebrities. Like one that comes to mind is Theo Von. Started out on a reality show.
Really?
He's been on a couple of them.
What?
Like early times.
No shit.
I'm forgetting the name of it. Look it up. I promise. And another one that came to my attention recently, shout out Billiam. It's a good YouTube channel.
Big shout outs to Billiam. I love that channel.
He did a video about Spike TV. Have you seen that?
No.
He's done a couple of them. That was a kind of like retrospective about the content that was on Spike TV in the day.
It's
and
Billiam.
One of the shows had Kristen Wiig on it.
Okay.
But it was like before she was like famous. Like she was a minor celebrity at that time, but now she's like huge.
Yeah.
In terms of like comedy movies and stuff that she's acted in, SNL and stuff that she's acted in. But this was like before any of that.
Dude, he's one of those dudes. Theodore Capitani von Kurnatowski III.
Yep.
Nigga, what?
What show was he on?
That's really his name?
Yeah. That's like
Christina P was on the same show.
That's almost as bad as fucking Travis Scott's actual name.
What is his actual name?
Let me see. Jacques Bermond Webster II.
That's kind of a hard name though. I won't lie.
That's Travis Scott's name?
Jacques Bermond Webster II.
The Webster goes hard.
Or just Jacques, not Jacques.
Jacques and Webster both go hard.
Yeah, Jacques is a sick name. I love Jacques. Shout out to all my Jacques out there.
There was
Rest in peace, John Tron's bird.
There was I don't know how real it was. It seemed like a fake, like the joke is on the audience type of beef.
Road Rules Maximum Velocity Tour in 2000. In 2000.
2000.
Holy shit.
And I think Christina P was on that too.
Wow.
Christina P is Tom Segura's wife.
Yeah.
Also a comedian. And there was like a rumor, like a joke or like a manufactured beef between Theo Von and Tom Segura for a long time because there was a rumor that he had slept with his wife. Like back then during the time of like that show.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of heard Tom Segura is like a huge piece of shit.
I've heard that too.
Who was telling me that, but apparently like he's like a very like classist like piece of shit. Like
once he got rich. Same thing with Bert.
And like he's the type of person that like equates like poverty with like being amoral like type shit basically. Like he thinks like you're lesser than him.
Yeah, easily. Like I think, very, very much so.
Yeah.
Less intelligent. Like he more so equates poverty with stupidity.
Yeah.
He thinks poor people are stupid.
Yeah. No, ever since
$25,500 from Road Rules.
Ever since
that's crazy. Good for him.
Ever since Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura like got like made it, like did it, like got really famous and wealthy, they've just been more and more annoying and shitty.
You know who else has that problem very, very distinctly to the point where I noticed it and it made me stop watching his videos?
Andrew Schultz.
Who?
Andrew Schultz.
I'm not sure who that is.
I still think he's has that same issue, but he's still funny, which I think Tom and Bert are not that funny anymore.
But it's like, yes, he's still funny because he's still the same guy, but it's like he's funny, but now he's also interjecting all of this shit about how, my rich person problems.
Yeah.
And fucking like, dude, stop. You know, fucking Akash Singh, is just as popular and just as famous and doesn't have anywhere near that level of like self-aggrandizement, in regards to his wealth or his success. You know, he's just grinding. But I feel it very distinctly with him, which is hilarious. It sucks because I think that they're both hilarious. But like,
it's funny we bring this up now because on the way here, I was looking, scrolling for something to listen to for my drive here, and a new episode of Joe Rogan came out with Andrew Schultz.
Yep.
And I immediately looked at the comments, and the only the video had just dropped. The only comments were like 6 comments, and it was like, not this guy.
Yep, dude. When I saw that Rogan came, first of all, the fact that he came back with fucking what's his name, the dude who was on like
Donnell Rawlings.
No,
also a very annoying comedian.
Wow, why am I forgetting his name? This is so stupid of me. Cat Williams.
Oh, okay.
The fact that he came back with Cat Williams,
hard,
huge W.
Big.
And also the biggest, like I kind of fell off Joe Rogan for a long time. Like once he switched to Spotify, which ironically enough made me switch to Spotify. Like, cause I was just like, yeah, I may as well. Like, cause I've listened to his podcasts all the time and I still want to listen to it. And then I just got Spotify and then stopped listening to him like 2 episodes into that. So, Spotify.
I'm pretty sure this podcast is on Spotify because he switched to Spotify too.
See,
I think that happened around the same time.
Yeah. And so, that pay out, Joe. But, but in any event, one thing that I really missed about the thing that I hated the most about that and that I think really took away from the experience of Joe Rogan was the fact that it doesn't have comments anymore. Like the fact that it had like the comment section on a Joe Rogan video was like half the entertainment of it for me.
Well, you should look at his Reddit now.
You couldn't
his Reddit page is that.
Reddit, bro. Every time I look at Reddit, I get upset. There really is something to the fact that like you were either a Reddit or a 4chan kid. And like, because like I cannot fucking stand just how people are on Reddit. And I can very easily understand how people who grew up or are engrossed in Reddit can feel the exact same way about 4chan people.
What about
I completely understand. So being a 4chan person myself, I get it. But y'all are fucking insufferable.
I think I know what you're talking about. I mean, I go on Reddit a lot. I won't lie, just because there's a community for everything. So it's like usually like a good way to get
you're a hobbyist
of any kind on something. Yeah. Like you can get like kind of up to speed on like a community very quickly.
Absolutely.
Just by browsing through for a little bit. But like a lot of times I cannot stand it. One thing that's like really insanely fucking annoying about Reddit is like when it's a link about something that seems somewhat interesting, so you open it to see like discussion about it, and like 9 times out of 10 it's just somebody trying to be funny.
And
sometimes it's funny, it's like
it's like farming.
After the millionth time you're just like, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Not everything is a platform for you to try to land a zinger. Like it's so
because they're trying to get those likes, bro. It's all fucking like it's like appealing to that's the main mechanic that fucks up Reddit is like the fact that you gain points for social acceptance.
Yes.
Versus something versus the opposite evil of 4chan, where like there is 0 social credit to be gained from participating in this. If anything, the fact that you try to act normal and regular makes other people actively shit on you.
Yes.
You know, and so it's like you get like the real brutal honesty of people like just unfiltered at you versus information and takes and all this other like community stuff that is filtered through basically the lowest common denominator of opinion,
right?
And so it's like that's really like because it's a similar thing as like Tumblr, right? Like you think of why Tumblr of all fucking social media sites popped off as being like the hub for far left extremism and like things like that. A lot of that is predicated on the fact that like the way that interactions happen on Tumblr, like you can literally have in any dialogue you have with somebody else, your page will always show you having the last word. So like it'll always be you dominating this other person with your excellent argument, and then you can just not respond to their response, and their response will not show up on your profile.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
I was never on Tumblr like that, so I didn't know.
Tumblr.
I didn't know like it worked like that.
I did because I ran back when I was playing Animal Crossing New Leaf, I literally just maintained a Tumblr just to post about my New Leaf village.
Nice.
But then I got caught up in all of that stuff because, of course, because it's Tumblr, it's kind of hard not to, especially back then in like 2014, 2013. was not, that's when that stuff was really starting to bubble up from Tumblr for the most part, it seemed like.
And particularly like the virtue like signaling shit was just like overbearing, like slapping your. And the funny thing is I was on Tumblr for some years, so I got to see things like certain like kind of pan out from beginning to end. And one thing was like I forget the guy's name now, it's been years, but there was some dude who was like very much like that type of person that was like very pro-feminist. No, I'm not saying anything bad about feminism. I'm just saying this guy put on this front like he was like a very pro-feminist.
A lot of wolves in sheep's clothing in the feminist movement,
like
for sure.
Very strongly condemning type of like, casting all these other people down. And then his shit blew up because he got exposed for being a creeper.
Many such cases.
DMs.
Many such cases.
There's a big trend of that.
Yep.
And it is exactly like a wolf in sheep's clothing type thing where, like all the memes I've seen, like I think they're really funny where it's like guy who tries to do everything to be like as like feminist appearing as possible. And then it says, "Can I fuck now?" at the bottom.
Yeah. Let me hit.
Yeah. It do be like that though. And that shit always wigged me out too. It's like, I don't know. I feel like I would rather have people think that I was a misogynist for not being feminist enough rather than thinking that I'm a creep for being too feminist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that. That like, because then you just seem like a lizard person.
Yeah, it
like
comes off as disingenuous.
You're very fake in that you're, gamey, not like me, but like gamey, like you're playing a fucking game.
Manipulative.
Get this shit across.
Very slimy. Those type of people are very like, it's creepy. It is. It's like, it's disturbing. Like the type of person who can just put on a facade like that.
Right.
Like, okay. It's
enough to where you don't know what the core person
right. When you
is.
don't,
that's what makes it creepy.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I was going to get to is like,
but you can see that there is a core person when you look them in the eyes.
Right.
You can like see, you can see the you're like making eye contact with the conductor in the mech.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you're like, you see that there's a little person, the person in this meat suit, but the meat suit is like playing a role, like it's being puppeted almost.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Absolutely.
And it's not just feminist either. That's like on like with everything. Just there's people like that, and it's fucking
like the same thing. I will say absolutely like about people who are like vehemently like anti-transgender, and they're like, oh, they think that like transgender people are pedophiles. Then it turns out those people are actually pedophiles.
Yeah, meanwhile, they're beating off to chicks with dicks.
Yeah,
like it's many such cases.
That's true. I mean, when you look at like the top search results for like porn in different states and in like Republican states, it's like very overwhelmingly gay.
Yeah. Or it's like the same thing with, again, like the other cliche of like super conservative politicians who are like trying to ban gay marriage or whatever. And it turns out they get caught because they were sleeping with some guy or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Fucking diddlers, man.
It's really...
My favorite is still Ted Cruz and his like history. You remember that?
I forget what happened with that. What was he like?
He was just like
porn, or
it was just liking a bunch of thirst traps,
bro. Twitter,
and then he tried to pawn it off on an intern or some shit.
Bro, Twitter is like unusable now, like right now, because I go on there occasionally, mostly because I want to find those like fight videos and stuff, like that kind of content. Yeah. But if you look at any post. It could be like a meme page. It could be an actual person, like a blue check person, anything. There'll be like one reply that's like has something to do with the post. Then every single reply after that is like somebody trying to promote OnlyFans or their meme page.
Yeah.
There is 1% of replies actually have anything to do with the original.
I've noticed that too. Yeah,
it's so annoying. It's
disjointed too because like just with how the service is built, is that when you're looking at replies for a post, usually that's what you're looking at because it has something to do with that post.
Right.
But now that you don't, you'll forget that you were on a tweet.
Right.
Because there's so many completely unrelated things that it looks like it's just a feed.
Another feed. You're just scrolling through another random feed.
And I've had that where I'm like, oh shit, like I'm in a post. I didn't even, let me back out here.
One funny thing that I've seen a couple of times pop up is people that are like, their post is like, damn, Twitter porn been boring lately. And then all the replies are people like trying to promote their porn or their nudes and stuff.
Fucking the eyes like, that sure is pornless around here, guys.
Yeah.
You know? No, but that, kind of tying it back to what I think I think this was part of the discussion we were having before the podcast, before we started recording, about like movie remakes and stuff like that. I'm not on X. I haven't been on Twitter since like 2014.
The Matrix thing.
Yeah. What?
Do you know about the Matrix thing?
Matrix thing?
Okay, so the whole thing, I'm pretty sure it was Lana Wachowski that actually worked on Matrix Resurrections, the new one that was like pretty well, like horribly panned or whatever. But the thing is like it's an insanely, everyone says it's an insanely meta movie, and that the movie is essentially about how it should not have been made in the first place, and how it's kind of like a commentary on soulless reboots and cash grabs, and like regurgitating the past.
I've never seen the movie, but I've consumed content
that says
analyzing,
and
that's not on that level. It's not far off from the truth.
Warner Brothers Discovery announced they're making a new Matrix movie, and it has nothing to do with the Wachowskis. They're not involved at all. So
they actually are.
Yes, that was legitimately announced.
Christ. That's incredible.
Like,
it's almost as bad as Joker 2, the musical.
Yeah,
that's a thing too.
Yeah, it's a musical.
Does it have Joaquin Phoenix?
Yes,
I think that sounds kind of rad.
It's him and what's her name? I can't think of her name right now. The singer, Poker Face, fucking
Lady Gaga.
Yes, yeah, she's Harley Quinn.
I did not hear
this. Lady Gaga is Harley Quinn in the second Joker.
Okay, high key, that's kind of lit. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I think that's the Joker. This version of the Joker, I could actually see it as a musical because of how weird and disjointed his mental state is portrayed to be.
And that's probably what they're doing.
That's what I think. That's why I can see that making sense and being interesting if executed right.
That's the thing, is like when you say it's a musical, like that's why I'm like, okay, that's because especially by modern the only musical that I like really genuinely fuck with, as somebody who doesn't like consume, isn't like,
I know you love Hamilton.
I've never seen it, actually. I watched it at some point.
Thank you. Okay. Stay psyched right now, bro. I got that. I'm keeping my hands up here for a reason.
I've had so many conversations about Hamilton.
Yeah, just talk. The only musical that I fuck with like really is West Side Story. Because that is just like that shit's fucking iconic.
You didn't like Repo, the Genetic Opera?
No.
Did you see that one?
Phantom of the Opera is also very good. Shrek the Musical is unironically very like kind of no, not Shrek the Musical. SpongeBob the Musical. SpongeBob the Musical is kind of lit.
The dude from SpongeBob the Musical is now dating or getting married to Ariana Grande.
That's incredible. Good for him.
The dude who plays SpongeBob.
Bro, he just...
And Andrew Schultz, they would make fun of him.
I saw this.
That's how I found out about it.
I did see a meme.
Flagrant. They were talking about it and making fun of him for being SpongeBob. I'm like, bro, that's sick. What are you talking about?
I saw some like meme where it was like making fun of this guy. I don't know who he is, but it was a picture of him looking kind of like goofy or whatever. And they pasted like lyrics from Ariana Grande like on him where it's like I can't believe him. He's like unbelievable. Like, and it's just like really goofy looking guy. Have you seen this? You know what I'm talking about?
Well, Ariana clearly has a thing for goofy dudes, given that it was fucking Mac Miller.
I think the guy you're talking about is the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are legitimately together.
Yeah, like it was like her fiance or whatever. Yeah.
Crazy.
Absolutely.
Good for him.
That's what it takes to get with Ariana. I can't even say your name.
Right. But yeah, by modern standards, and I'm sure that there are good musicals out there. Again, I'm not a musical guy. I don't consume it. I'm not going to say that all musicals are shit, but I've seen enough musicals that are abject shit that are like revered by the theater kid community.
Everybody says La La Land was good. I never saw it.
I haven't seen it either. Again,
I think
that's
Rocky
what I'm
Horror Picture Show is like really fucking overrated, and there are people that will impale me for that. God. And I fucking love Tim Curry. Like that's nothing at all. I love Tim Curry. That movie's still overrated as shit.
I think it's
like the theater kid like anthem. It's like their coming of age movie.
There's a generation of people that saw that and never saw anything similar, and they got really attached to it, and then for like decades held on to it and love it, and it's like almost like a tradition to like rewatch it or whatever. And then, but like today, like I agree with you, it's like it's overrated.
And what's the other one? I don't remember.
Movie. It's a fun movie, but it shouldn't be like preserved as like a cult phenomenon for decades and decades.
Yeah.
I don't think that
no,
it's
Pee-wee's
Rocky
Big
Horror.
Adventure.
Right?
Valid.
Which is not a musical, but
What's the one with the talking plant?
Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
That one was kind of lit.
That
As far
one's
as
good.
like campy theater kid musicals go,
That one's fun.
That one's like actually pretty good. The fucking dentist song on that,
Yeah,
in particular.
Dean Martin, or who is it? Or
I don't
what's
recall.
his name? The comedy guy. He's actually really funny.
Yeah,
But he plays like a sadistic dentist in that movie.
his song fucking slaps, bro. I like.
Yeah, that
okay,
one
this
is
is
good.
this is a bopper. I like this.
I really don't. I've never really seen any of these.
I think his
know of
song
it,
is
but I've
like
never
literally
seen it.
about how sadistic he is, basically, and like how he enjoys like making people like squirm and shit. Something like that. Good movie though. Movie's good.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you that's common for dentists to be like get a little bit of a kick out of like.
Honestly,
I think
the work
dentists
that
just
they
love
do.
money. Like,
just kind of like
Well, that too.
Schadenfreude the career.
Right.
Like, damn, better you than me, guy.
Get ready. Exactly.
true.
I'm
Like
eyeball stuff and mouth stuff, or I'm afraid of like surgeries or in things.
yeah,
Which I know my teeth are definitely one day gonna have to get worked on because I don't know. I just know it's probably inevitable.
Yeah.
me too. I
brush my
teeth, but
Me too.
I still feel fucking little holes and shit milling about.
I have
Get
like an
occasional
extra
pain.
tooth. So like right here on the back side, there's a tooth that I guess this is a baby tooth or something that never came out. And behind it, the tooth that's supposed to take its place just never fully came out. It's just poking out.
What the
Wow.
fuck? I've never heard of that
Yeah, it's
happening.
weird.
That's,
Doesn't hurt. It doesn't cause problems at all. Nothing. It's just there. And it's like when I put my, like brush my tongue against it, it's just there. No issues at all. But I guarantee one day this other tooth that's in front of it's going to have to come out, and I'm going to have to do something about filling that gap somehow. Because that other tooth behind it's not going anywhere. It's not growing in.
be in your
Or
40s.
just have a third tooth extra there for some reason.
Just be in your 40s with braces.
That would suck. Oh my God.
One of those. One of them. Well, they got those like Invisalign things now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that literally hit the scene like as soon as I was done with my braces. Of course, then Invisalign became like more like consumer friendly, and it was like, well, fuck me, okay, But man, that was not fun having braces at all.
I never had a brace phase.
And then I never wore my retainer, and so my teeth literally just got like refucked almost immediately.
You know what else I almost did that I know a lot of people, a significant amount of kids go through that I thankfully didn't, that I was afraid of, is getting tonsils removed.
No, yeah, I didn't have that either.
I know
Got my
there's like
You're
a,
supposed to.
I feel like it was like very
Not that you're
popular
supposed to.
plot. Like I
It's a
feel like
common-
it was like much of a trope. Like a lot of kids shows, I feel like featured someone going to have their tonsils taken out. So it seemed like this like omnipresent
they made
thing.
it, yeah, they made it seem like something everybody have to deal
That
with.
and like chicken pox and shit like
Yeah,
that. I was
yeah.
waiting like, when am I gonna have to take my oatmeal bath, bro?
Right.
Once a
When am
day.
I got
That
chicken pox, but I was in
skunks-
high school.
Getting sprayed by a skunk, having to take a
The
tomato bath.
Yeah.
That's another thing that quicksand.
Yep.
I think
Quicksand.
we'd think would be more of a problem than it is.
Which I mean, to
But,
be fair, probably would be if we didn't live in like the world's biggest parking lot.
Yeah.
Like if this place wasn't like literally paved over by industry, we probably would have to deal with
But we're
quicksand.
a
a lot
paved
more.
over swamp, so we got to worry about.
That's what I'm saying. Like
sinkholes.
Yeah, sinkholes are scary, man.
Sinkholes
At
are
least
very
like
scary.
like you should. It's kind of your fault if you get in quicksand, right? Like how the fuck did you get in here?
Well, it's kind
How
of
did it happen?
you can't necessarily
What
see it.
sort of terrain are you on?
sand.
You're just going
terrain.
here, like
Yeah.
in the woods. If there was a huge patch of sand, I'm not gonna step in it. I'm like, that's conspicuous.
If it's in the well, think if it's
badly
in,
hidden trap.
well, think if it's in the woods, right? It could be
Under
underneath
leaves,
a layer of detritus.
Okay,
Yes.
I can. buy
Then you
into
step
that.
your foot into that, and you're like, oh, well, that's gross and inconvenient. And you
Take
take it
another
out, and
step.
you're like, oh fuck.
I don't know. I just think I'd get out. Like I'm just
built
built different.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. If I
just
was
don't think
trapped in
I'd sink.
if I was in quicksand, I'd just walk out that bitch.
Right?
I was on that boat, I'd have just turned it. I'd have hopped in the dinghy and just pushed it away.
Well, we told the story a few pods ago when Kevin was here about our friend Brandon. In my neighborhood, there's a creek behind our friend Brandon's house that runs through the neighborhood, and there was like different points during the years, like when I was growing up, where sometimes it would be completely dry, sometimes it'd be muddy, sometimes it would actually be full of water. There was like a few years in a row there was kind of a drought, so it was just like flat dirt that you could just walk on, but there was random patches in it where it was like mud that you couldn't tell was mud because there was like a dry layer on top. But if you step in it, you're falling in like 3-4 feet. And our friend Brandon lost his shoes and a pair of pants that way.
Holy
he went, because he was walking in it, got stuck in it, and somebody had to like pull him out, and his pants came down with his shoes and everything stuck in the mud.
I had similar experiences when I was I'm very averse to kayaking nowadays because I remember back when I would kayak during like as a kid. For some reason, like the 3 times I went kayaking, we would always push off and land on like these mud banks. And it was always, and you had these like really thin fucking like wet shoes, like kayaking shoes. And like, I just remember every single time getting on and off the fucking kayak was so fucking treacherous because I would step off and my foot would literally go like just a whole foot into the fucking mud. And I felt like I was going to just get swallowed up and die.
Yeah.
And
also,
like,
who knows what's underneath that too?
Right.
Yeah. And so like ain't no way.
What scares me
now they
a
have
lot,
docks and shit.
What I get like secondhand fright from is people who are like in those maybe they're a different, I don't know if they're called something else or maybe they're a type of kayak, but people who are on like the rapids or whatever, and those type of boats that they're like kind of strapped in, they're like lower half is like sort of like strapped in. So if they get flipped, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to drown.
Back over.
Yeah, you have to turn back over. You're going to just fucking drown. That shit.
Or just, at that point, smack your head into a rock.
Yeah.
And not be alive to be worried about it.
What's scary, though, too, is like if you're underwater and you're disoriented, you can genuinely not know which way is up. Like that happens to people, like divers and shit. Like when they're having an emergency or whatever, if they get like spun around or whatever, they might start going in the wrong direction, which is crazy.
Couldn't be me.
Because when you're in water, like you don't have as much sureness and like gravity as you walking around, because like it's kind of supporting your weight to a degree.
That's like one of those. There was like a few years ago, there was a conversation that kept like popping up everywhere of like expanding our concept of what counts as a sense. Mm-hmm. Because we have the 5 that we talk about, sight,
but there are
smell,
more.
taste.
They say there are many more.
There's many more. That. Your sense of gravity is
equilibrium.
To a degree, equilibrium. Your sense of which way is up and everything. That's a sense. Mm-hmm. And it's like we don't think about it, but that's a way that we perceive our world.
Also,
and a lot of animals have sense of like
force on the body is another one.
Yeah,
you can feel G-forces on your body.
Well, isn't that gravity?
Yeah, that would be kind of a sense of direction.
Not even necessarily gravity, but I mean, like if you're spinning in like a machine, like when you're in the car and you take a turn, that lurchy feeling. You can feel the force acting on your body. Like that's like kind of its own individual sensation, I think. It probably is just like an offshoot of it acting on your balance.
It's probably, I would imagine it's probably tied to it in a similar way that like taste and smell are tied to each other.
Yeah.
Like it's similar like neurological pathways, but sort of like tuned for very specific things.
Elevators too. That like really weird feeling when the elevator first starts like trying to move.
Yeah.
Like,
or like if
it feels like your body's going down while it's going up.
Or sometimes if you're going over, if you're driving and there's like a little bump, or not a bump, but like a small hill. Mm-hmm. And you're like, you have that same exact sense where you're like in the air for like 0.5 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Your body's like floating for 0.5 seconds when you're going over. Especially like train tracks sometimes where it's like slightly raised. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Weird. And I like how I wish that humans had what a lot of animals have, which is that sense of like magnetism. Like the Earth's like magnetic field.
I feel like that would be kind of annoying.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm feeling all this, especially in today's world, feeling all them fucking electromagnetic forces around me.
I've heard of, I don't know how common of a thing this actually is, but I've heard that there are people that got magnets put under their skin in like their hands and stuff so they could feel magnetism. Like,
well, I've heard of that, but it's like RFID chips.
That's kind of
like
cool.
They put an RFID chip in so they can unlock their car.
Well, I've heard of that too, but as a separate thing.
Oh, wow.
Like what I'm talking about is like they put like a series of magnets. Like, I don't know if it's like up their whole arm or anything, but in their hand so that they could feel the magnetism of when something is drawing those magnets, it pushes against their skin so they feel it.
So, like, if they ever have to get an MRI, they have to have them surgically removed.
That would suck.
First.
Imagine.
Like, they would have to get them removed. It could kill you.
Imagine they just shoot out of
Yeah, it would. It would.
God.
That's why I'm thinking, like, Magneto. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. That's just going to get yanked out of your body somehow.
Oh.
You go by, like, a junkyard, and they got, like, the high-powered magnet thing going on.
What a very, like, specific, like, Final Destination type of way to die.
Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, the idea of like metal being pulled through your body, that's probably happened to somebody.
That has happened because something similar is if people swallow magnets, what happens is if you swallow them and they're separate and they go through your digestive tract, they can, because your gut is like a series of squiggles.
Right. They can
They'll try to
floors.
attract. They'll try to retract and pinch your guts together and can pierce through sometimes. Oh, that's why magnets are like a hazard for like kids' toys.
You know what I don't understand is like how, yeah, that makes sense. How, because there's like iron in your body, right? And wouldn't these like super powerful magnets, like I guess they're probably tuned to the degree that they're not going to pull the individual particulate like iron in your body through you.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like with, well, again, knowing nothing about it, the way that I hear like stories like that, like if you have anything metal in your body, it's just getting pulled right out of you. It's like, why isn't like the iron molecules in your body like getting pulled out? Why don't you at least? Because I've gotten an MRI before.
I think the force is just too weak. Like they're too small to like really act in like a meaningful way.
I guess, yeah. And it's because if you were to like actually take all the iron in your body and condense it to a little thing, it would be in a very minuscule amount.
Yeah, but I would think
it's just like all spread out in different parts of your body and being used in different ways. And it's just like you said, like I think it's just such a small amount to really do.
It's one of those things though that I feel like I would definitely feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that you would like get, like kind of like you're dropping in like one of those like weird senses things.
Yeah.
Whereas all I remember feeling is feeling like I fucking pissed myself because of the saline solution that they pump into you. The entire time I'm like, please don't let me walk out of this with soiled pants. I swear to God. Because have you guys gotten MRIs before?
No.
Yeah,
CAT scan. That's it.
Yeah, they put a.
Yeah, I've never been to the hospital really for anything like that.
Yeah, they literally will put
never broken anything, never.
Yeah, they inject you with this like saline solution that apparently like helps. It's like mixed in with something else that like the machine can like it's how they're able to like get readings on you because they have this like this liquid that they read through it, and it like makes you feel very warm. And like
that would scare me on its own.
Yeah, well, it kind of did.
Feel
like,
hot?
Yeah, but it's like you feel it wash over you, and then it hits like your crotch, and I literally felt like I just pissed myself. Like I didn't, thank God, but like it was really weird.
That's what bothers me about like heated seats in cars.
Yeah,
that feeling is like I just peed.
Whether or not I just peed, I'm definitely getting swamp ass after this.
Right?
Yeah.
Bro, God really pulled a prank on us by giving us a common dream of like, I have to pee, there's a toilet. You know what I mean? Like you have to pee in a dream and you piss yourself when you're sleeping.
Fucking been there, bro. Twice that's happened to me as a kid.
Of all the times in my life that I've pissed myself. I was
so upset.
Of all the times in my life that I've pissed myself in my sleep beyond being like 5 years old, like every time after that, it's always been because of that type of dream.
Yeah. Literally. Exactly.
I don't think it's happened to me.
I've had that happen.
Maybe as a child.
I've had that happen in the last year.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
That's rough. That sucks. I'd be pissed.
One time.
Literally.
Yeah. One time, actually, I have a story of like missing pee one time. One mysterious missing piss. One time, I was sleeping over at a friend's house and I had a dream that, you know, like how sometimes you're aware that you're dreaming. It's not like quite a lucid dream where you can control it, but you're kind of in a twilight state. So you kind of are in and out of a dream.
Yeah.
So I was kind of in that where I was like in and out of a dream.
Hypnagogic state.
Is that what it's called?
I believe so.
Yeah. So I was dreaming that I was pissing.
Where, like I'm riding a bike and then I fall and I jump and I fucking really jump.
I've had that happen too. There was a period of my life where if anytime somebody woke me up, like other than me waking up naturally, it would make me like frightened. Like it would make me wake up and scream.
Oh, wow.
There was a time, I don't know what caused that and why it went away, but that used to happen to me frequently. But this time I was at a friend's, I was with Andreas, spent the night at his place. And
Shout out Andreas.
Twilight state, waking up. I'm dreaming that I'm pissing, and I wake up panicked because like I don't want to piss on his sister's sheets that I borrowed from her bed to sleep on the floor in his room or whatever the fuck. And I wake up and I'm dry. I'm like, what just happened? Like, the pee is gone.
The mystery of the missing piss.
Really, it was. It felt so real.
Pissing, if you will.
It was pissing.
Well, me or
me.
Yeah, hold on.
Me pissing.
Miss. Hold on. No.
That's a miss.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah, that missing and P is a difficult one to like make an acronym for.
Piecing.
Piece. The piecing.
Piecing.
Anyway. We gotta wrap. I think we gotta wrap this up soon because I gotta get to work.
Yeah. All right.
I think missing P is a
good place to end.
Missing. Yes.
You're just gonna keep repeating it, trying to find a way to combine.
Bro, it's bothering me. There's gotta be something.
A hidden, and some hidden piss.
There's somebody who
you're missing.
You're missing. That's good.
Do you ever? Okay, last thing before we wrap up. Do you ever read somebody's license plate and you're trying to interpret it as like make a word out of it?
Yeah.
Well, there's somebody I know who it's a jumble of letters and numbers, and I think what I'm about to say won't reveal what it actually is. But in my head, it looks like it spells penis. And I thought every time I see the plate, I'm like, yeah, I know that's who that is because the plate says penis.
It's like PN15, something like that.
Actually, it's like it's actually worse because it's farther off than that. It's pidness.
Wow.
But to me, in my head, I'm like, yeah, pidness.
I like keeping it
it's
on
like
pidness.
Pingus. Yeah.
Staying on pidness.
I saw somebody on the highway the other day that just had 1 on their license plate.
I was there.
Were you there for that?
That was when we go to Miami.
Was it?
Right?
Damn.
I
think so.
I feel probably. I mean, I would believe it if we're going to Miami. That seems like where the 1 license plate would be.
That's funny.
Yeah.
We should tell this story about Miami.
No, we shouldn't. Anyway, this has been an episode of
Another time.
That's for another time. We don't need to get too deep in my road rage on the homie episode.
Not just that. That's only one fraction of the story.
Yeah.
That whole evening was a thing.
Did you get your refund back yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Or,
did you?
It hasn't processed yet, but they told me they did, so I'm gonna fucking.
Mine came through on Friday morning.
I'm gonna redacted. I'm going to redacted to their headquarters and redacted if I don't get my fucking refund back. You heard it here first, folks. Just kidding. I'm not doing anything like that, but I will send them emails like I have been
incessantly.
Yeah, seems to work.
Ryan, any final thoughts or anything you want to say? Topics?
I got nothing for you, honestly.
No.
Fucking brush your teeth, stay in school. I mean, don't even necessarily stay in school.
I was about to say, come on,
you
bro.
don't necessarily have to go to college. You should probably finish high school. I don't know. Nowadays, you're probably not going to get a job either.
Bro,
have friends. Be nice to people.
Yeah, get your GED. Actually get good at something like a skill that's actually like useful and helpful to people rather than wasting all your time playing video games. I'm talking to me here. And stay hydrated.
Or make your career out of video games. Can also do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. But like actually like do it well. Don't just fucking spend $10,000 on a 4090 and then just like not talk at a camera while you're filming yourself, not talking while playing a video
10
game.
G's on a 4090 just to play Counter-Strike.
Yeah, bro. Fucking like, come on. Everybody thinking they're gonna hit it big.
Yeah.
But not everybody can hit it as big as Queso.
True.
Big man.
True. That dude's hilarious.
He is.
We'll talk about that another time. All right. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Or thank you for downvoting this or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Peace.
Fuck you, Reddit.